Hello, 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 hello. Have you got me now? I think we have. Boom, boom. So volume works here, right? Am I right? The volume works here. Does the volume work here? Here to go back here, it works here. Does volume work here? And if it does it echo here? Uh-huh. Wow, it cut in. Yes, yes. And now not. Now we can hear you. Yes, yes, yes. Not here though. Yes, yes, yes. Excellent. And does it echo? Tell me if I'm echoing, please. No echo. Wow. And does it sit? Right. Okay. Great. Man, that was a fucking nightmare. No echo either. Excellent. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Okay. All charts now. Right. So, where did we get to on the on charts? Well, we're on AMC. Here's the lines I drew. It didn't manage to hold this one. It went to this one. This is exactly where we said AMC would go. That's great. This GME went to 185. There at 200 period, broke through that line that we said it was likely going to at least get to. Here's this downside on a 4 hour. That was an interesting demand line, but it wasn't the support. Support was more like through the bottom of these two and these other yens here. So I'll just drag that down, probably about right. Yeah, that's the actual support line. So still could potentially come a bit more on that, like we're talking about 170s, high 170s. Hopefully that doesn't happen, but still possible. And VIX went up like we said it would, even further than we thought it might. Let's see, it went gapped above, went to where we said it would, and then boom, broke out of that formation. So that's it doing what we said it would do. SPY going to the 200. This is where we did our drawings. Said it could go down here, potentially, at least it's going to at least here. Went gapped beyond that, so that's still our target now to close the gap on SPY, which should be a recovery up to 439 from where we are at the minute. That's significant on SPY, certainly is. So, you know, there's a huge gap. I expect things to go back, fill that gap at some point, sooner rather than later, to be honest. Here's VIX, because it's very extended. I expect it to drop down back within this formation. And when that happens, things like Naked, which is just about got to its target. I mean, look how good these lines were. Everyone will be shitting a brick out there. But if you were watching along, you'll have been saying, hey, this is great. It's never going to go to Tradespotting's targets. It's never getting there. And you wake up this morning and it's nearly there already. So that's that. That's interesting, right? Great. Rolls-Royce outperforming the market, up 5% today. Going to go soon, put in its new all-time highs. Told you come back here and you get this entry again. What happened? Came back here and you got this entry again. It's fucking brilliant. Nobody's lines are as good as Tradespotting's lines. Like, and here you go, looking at the target on this one, $220 still. Bitcoin came back to where we said it would. Horizontal diagonal demand line didn't hold 44. We said if it didn't hold 44, it's dropping between 8 and 10%. 47, sorry, if it didn't hold 47, it's dropping 8 and 10%. Did that. Bitcoin dominance, we talked about if it had captured this line, which it did, it was going up here, which it did. Look at this. Dominance chart all coming back like we said it would. Futures absolutely wrecked on Bitcoin there. And total market cap down 10% in crypto land as we speak. Big drop having opened up today and gone that far down. So that's a quick run through the markets. Hit my stop on AHT, which is in profit at the time. Now I'll see how it works out for the next wee while. Let's literally see how that works out into this zone. Probably get this trade again if you wanted it. I might. Let's see at the time. And what else? XRP 13%. Big chunk is down at 8.7. What else? Harmony 1 went from 2.23 to 1.1. That was 50% off that. ADA, massive drop down 10% again today. Couldn't hold the 1618 after this extension. It goes to the 214. Went to it, touched it. Not bad trades in there. My lords, my ladies. So, hello everybody. That's that stuff. Right, now I've done that. That's me telling you, as crazy as today is, which is, today was crazy, it's still all completely and utterly within our tolerance of what we expected to happen. It's even good for people who are looking to take trades off most of things. So this is this. Now I want to go in and edit this video so that, not edit the video, but stick it so I can see what people are saying very much. I see that I have Daniel giving you it now. You would have got it anyway, but now I'm going to give it to you later. Da-da-da-dang. Dang, 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 dang. And that's exactly what I deserve. Nothing later. Freaking idiot I am. Charles, welcome to Jim. Charles, awesome. Thank you so much, Charles. Really appreciate. Big welcome, Charles. How are you doing? Thank you for joining. Despite my terrible audio, you joined up. It's really appreciated. And I don't get any more messages above there. Where is that other one? Why isn't it giving me that other message? Oh, well. Fair enough. Pop out chat so I can actually see what people are saying. Thank you very much. Okay, so I've got you. As red days keep things interesting. There's Milady H. Love that shit. Every price is a great price. Junk mail, how's it going? Cachicho. Can't watch, just listening. Excellent, because I've not got my camera up at the minute. Anyway, I'm doing it all wrong. More likes, please. See Charles there, a gentleman. Welcome, Charles. Big welcome, Charles, there. Who dares wins keepos? Right, I'm trying to get this. The audio in the beginning was so smooth, I didn't hear any problems at all. What about now? Didn't hear any problems because it was super smooth. Smooth to the point I turned it off somehow. Do a fan fib to liven up the stream. A fan fib to liven up the stream. Whoa, this system's fan fibs. I could do it. I have to scale the charts to do them properly. No one does them properly, right? You know that. We don't really need them to liven up the stream. Look, we've already got our Fibonacci-based time zones. They liven up the stream, and don't they right enough? We called it and we talked about it. This low and this high and this low defined where our Fibonacci time zones came in. They called this other high. Let's get this accurate. on correct candle. Where is it? I can't see it because of my freaking drawings. Let's turn it off and on again just quickly. That one. Close enough, innit? Close enough anyway. It called this high, it called this low. And this is 618 is the one coming up next. That's what we've been through. No, it's the full extension. The full extension of this Fibonacci time zone is would likely play out in around this one level. And that would be where this period of price action from the high we put in our ultimate high to our low in February. From 500 down to 40. That high low caused this Fibonacci time zone, which is likely to be resolved either at the 618 or at the 1. The 1 also comes in line with the ascending triangle, which we're in the middle of still. And that would take us to the top side of this target perhaps around the 16th of December, 17th, 20th of December. That'd be well annoying. Happy Christmas present, but it would be well annoying if it took that long. That's something to look at. We could draw a fan fib. I could scale the charts. $90 dip on 3 million volume. What is this? Volume for ants? Aye, well, like a lot of people ask me about volume, and recently had Astro Boy was chatting about it there as well, and I was saying like volume comes last, means nothing. Can't do any TA on volume alone, means nothing. It only ever means yes or no, and the only thing you can do with it is starting volume or stopping volume. It's the only thing you'll ever be able to do with it. And if you link volatility and say, why have we got such high volume when we've got such high volatility, such a big range, even though we've got such low volume? It's something I explain repeatedly on the channel, that volatility goes up when volume is low. Okay, lower volume, more volatility. This is how volatility works. So, yes, volume for ants, and then the less of that, the more chance of price action moving a big bot. Oh my god, what's going on with JME? Little joke, nice price action calls my tits are jacked. Nice, thanks very much, dears. Can I have an 8 ounce more volume, please? Jeff, no. Apparently, Britain's going back to imperial standard of measurements now that we've left the EU. It's like we're desperate to be old-fashioned and weird over here in Britain for some reason. Though you guys love the pound and ounces, don't you? So you guys will be able to communicate better with the Americans. Yeah, so why not? What's wrong with imperial? Huh? What's wrong with imperial? 181.16. Okay, so this is did it touch that? 182 or so. What was that? Let me zoom in. Oh, it tells me down here. 184.55. Okay, I didn't quite get to that yet. What chart are we on? We're on the daily chart, and we can say there's this line here. It would have to be that. You would like to make it more steep, but you can't really. And line above you. I suppose you could take this down and say that's the thing from this wick. That's obviously not going to do much. It's all about the horizontals on that level. So just goodbye. And instead, hello. Oh, that's good. Why don't you just do it? Oh, have I got drawings turned off? No. So please work this time. No. And it just doesn't want to work. That's great. That's finally okay. Did it better than never. Stupid. So that makes this 225, 229, that level, which was always just a temporary level until such times as we made it real, making it 1, 2, 3 touches now, the 3 touch and the pullback to the bottom side, catch some sort of demand line. It's either the 50 period, it's this line here, it's the 200, or it's our overall formations bottom. Somewhere price action will get caught and then return to the top side. Formation may or may not reach it around. Don't know why I predicted that particular point in time. Probably something. Oh, it was when I had this as drawn as an ascending triangle. Then you'd be coming up for that, like this body, these bodies. Yeah, this one here, and then it was when this was like this here something, And like within this formation here, there's an ascending triangle of which we're really close to breaking out of it. It comes in around here. So some point during this, you're either going to take the down leg or the top side out of it. And the measure and move off that quite extensive. Take the top to the first touch, one to the other. If it comes on top side, likely does take us up to this level. Or at least push us towards that side of a breakout, and the breakout to the downside is to take us to minus $1 billion. Yeah, like minus $1 billion, right? So, not necessarily useful move on that chart, but we can do it to linear. Oh, a linear, and it's still not going to do anything. Like the measuring move for that still takes you too low, so that's not really something you can do. And topside takes you beyond your horizontal, so I wouldn't put much faith in it either. Though it is the formation there. That's the wick cut through these two. Just touch it. Lots of touches on the bottom. Maybe even broke out of it already. So that's interesting, but not necessarily useful for price action. And do you want to drop Fib Fan? Where do you want to drop from? These sort of levels. Do ya? Do ya? Do ya? Do ya? Will you wanna? Do ya? Do ya? Do ya? A drop Fib Fan would first need to do. Oh no. It's all these settings. I hate it when it's on these settings. Oh no, I've just done that. Oh no, oh no, oh no, oh no. Ugh. Right, I don't like it when it's on that GAN box, like the different kind in order to scale the charts. Do they have the other option? Can't be bothered scaling charts completely, so this half podged jobbed, just podged job. All I have to do. Should have done it better actually. Oops, now I've ruined it. Go back. Oops, now I've ruined it all this way. This is just a little bit. Oh my goodness, now I've really ruined it. We'll go back to our beginnings. Can we go back to our beginnings? Wouldn't that be nice? Right, move over. Oh, this is why I've got a specific chart for this. Crap. Come on over here. Obviously, I've deleted it though. Actually, have I actually? Can I just... Oh. Can you piss off while I try? This is what I made earlier, please. Where is it? Where's my extra charts? Oops. Ah! Is this in the way of it or something? Is this one in the way of it? There it is. Right. This was the Gann chart. Oh no, I've done it all wrong. I've deleted the Gann chart. What are we on here? It's not GME, it's SPY. Ha! Disaster zone. Right, where was it? Is it on here? If I actually got it, it'd be well nice if I did. Nah, I've not got it. Oh well, and then during that time, Jimmy's gone back to 190. Your drawings piss off. Goes out the 1 minute chart. Bang, bang. Make it auto. See. Huge move there in the last few minutes there, really. From that low, 184. Takes your 200 period moving average. W bottom. Divergence. Push back up again. 200 period moving average. 15 minute time frame. Your 200's way back up at $200. You have put in the same formation RSI though, so that's positive. This being our previous low once, twice, 3 times as part of this inverted head and shoulders means that it's likely resistance while you're here. Wonder if it's also 236 of this Fibonacci. Yes, it is. Likely again to prove resistance, poking your head out of the bearish control zone. I haven't been so far in it for so long. Such as this example here, probably similar. Test the low again afterwards. 190, what did we get up to? 190.99. Suppose that's interesting. This is the other relevant Fibonacci for the moment. And that level is your golden pocket retracement. So we went all the way beyond it, 786, didn't even make the 886. So from a bearish perspective, you would have been hoping for more. The fact that we've retraced so far now will mean some of them close. Let's see how it gets. Either it bounces here and comes back down. We see the move that takes us down to 182 and 49. Or at this stage, it goes go and push back up again. And we see it try for higher 195 and above area, which I don't know, would I expect to see that at the end of the day? Well, if it was, it would be in volume in the last couple of minutes. Well, it might not be in volume, but it would be in the last couple of minutes, and I expect as people will be looking at that same trade, they might think the same thing. It'll be the last few minutes that they'll be planning on taking it, especially if others do. Topside 19624 for today. If it even gets there, I wouldn't bet on it. And to confirm this low is in, we need to be above this 236 at 191.54. Need to be open and closing significant time frames there. If not, the 4 hour itself would be above the 55 if it could get back up then the 1 hour. Resting on the 200 on the 1 hour, it's a trend check. That's totally normal. This was a very positive reaction from it. This one's only just started, really. I've had 2 out, I've had 1 and a bit hours. This is the last. 20 minutes left. You have to capture the 18 period moving average to get above this next fib level. Plus there's all of this support and resistance crap on the left. And there's also this little formation. Still that's a bit of that equalizer, little triangle. Isosceles, Jimmy. Yeah, so there's still a bit of that on the go there. Though we have been trending down within it, we've had only one. That's a bit rich taking that, but we did 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3. Plus that retrace, I just don't know, it's a bit extended. Let's draw it in anyway, just see. Not all that much, that's more than it is. Top side of that, 260. Underneath, 130. Right, well, there's been people calling for that, but they're not really good at TA. Anyway, yeah, that's unlikely. Your 618 up here on this most recent Fibonacci is also at the top of your formation. You've got the 236 in the hourly below you. It's totally nothing to worry about. It's perfectly normal price action, despite the fact that it seems crazy. It's not at all. I've been watching 30 Minute as well. Oh, right, okay, let's see. The 30 Minute is quite clear in the signals it's given recently. There's your 236. You're above it now. This is good. That's good price action, folks. Also on 30 minutes, you're above the 18 period moving average. Way below the 200. 30 minute isn't important for moving averages, really. All that I think about it, it doesn't form any of my strategies, nor do I do know much about them. Let's drop down to the 1 minute and see if this can keep going. 200 was important here. 236 was important here. You at least expect to see a test of the 236. I haven't gone through it. I mean, it'd be stupid not to. But you might see the 200. The only thing that would stop you is that you'd likely see a test of these lows as well. Haven't gone beyond them. So maybe it rescues it beforehand. But at the very least, you would expect to see a test of 1917, 191.17. That might be what we did already, or might be where we're going to now. And then if that doesn't hold, you'd be looking at that 200 period moving average. You're below the 236 now. So you look at that 189.98. What's that general area? What's that general area, Zimmy? So yeah, like that 1 minute, it tests these areas and see if it goes on. I actually like haven't got the 236 cool, but you want to get closing early on it above it here. And that means staying above 191, preferably above 192. And the closer you get to the lower side of it, the more debatable whether or not you've done it is. 4 hour. No. Stay in the 30 minutes. AMC 39.97. Moving average is right on it. It's 30 minutes though. Let's see. Doesn't desperately important, but you can see it's been held below it. Let's do it early. Your support and resistance above your all resistance, and none of them are lovely. Tradespotting. How about your girlfriend Rolls Royce? Have you seen her lately? Heard she's doing good. Goody good. Rolls Royce. So Rolls Royce, yeah. Look at that, eh? Boink. Got your entry. Very good trade. Very good trade. We got your very good trades. Like, I've got no drawings on this chart really, other than, let's go to the other chart where I've done all this out. Is it this one? No, it's this one here. Rolls Royce. Yes. So you got your 618 retrace, you got your entry there again. It was the same as the previous entry. It was the same trade you had on this. Let's go back down and see if I've got my actual picture of trades and everything. Where is it? I had this up right there. It is. So there's the trade. And I've said this before. I'm going to leave it on here and you're going to get that trade again. And here it is. You've got that trade again. You got your entry on it and now it's gone up and you've got your take profit on it again. So you've got this trade twice. This trade, which was a 14-to-1 trade risk reward. You had it twice. Quite fantastic trades, right? Quite fantastic. Putting it lightly, they're quite fantastic. That's happened when they've come out with the first maiden flight of an all-electric plane. It did very well. It's called Spirit. Well done. If you're watching Rocky's news earlier, you'll have known all about it. Up on the 4 hour, you can see this is very bullish price action. The fact that it's doing this again so soon, in the face of everything going down, it doing that up 5%. And that, yeah, nobody makes calls like Tradespotting. So that's that. You want to see something else that nobody else makes calls like? Look at that naked entry. Didn't I tell you that was the naked entry? Look at that. Maybe people be like, "Hey, how did you know that was going to happen?" And the boy was asking there, who was it? Was this yesterday? A couple of last week there. Someone was asking about this and thinking 236 was an entry, and I was saying, hey, you know it is, but this is the one I'd like, and here it is, that one again. Why is that happening, Jimmy? Why? Jimmy, you said if Bitcoin doesn't hold 47,000 on a 4 hour, then it was going to lose between 8 and 10%. And not only did it, that came in and it hit not only your diagonal, but your horizontal line. Exactly the same place. How did you do it, Jamie? I think we've covered everything now. We talked about the total chart, Bitcoin market, 8% off the altcoins today. It was there, lower. It was 10% when we started the stream. Bitcoin futures absolutely wrecked. You know, they were going to get wrecked. And not only are they going, where are they going to get wrecked, but 43.6 for the price of Bitcoin, 43.4 for the price of Bitcoin futures. That means they're in backwardization. If you want a big bearish kick up the arse, that's what it is. Backwardization. Look it up. In the dictionary. No. Ha. Right, that's that. Isn't it brilliant? Did I still... And then back over here, and there is volume, but there's no me. But that's a choice, the no me on that front. Okay, excellent. 268 concurrent viewers, 209 likes. That's not bad at all. Thank you very much for everybody who tuned in. And oh shit, I forgot to do any of the setting up the stream stuff here. Silly me, Jamie, you're a silly Billy. You really are. Customization. Look at that. Make it so only subscribers can talk. It's just like perfectly reasonable, if you ask me. Good idea, in fact. Make 5 minutes only. Monetization. Fuck that shite. Fuck all that shite. Who cares about any of the rest of it? Okay. And save. Got a new member though in Charles. That's brilliant. Oh, yeah. Right. What else was we going to talk about? We'll not leave it on Bitcoin. We'll leave it on GB. Well, because it was doing strong on the minute. And then we'll go back to that MATIC chart. And then we'll go, oh, is there bearish divergence on the top side of this thing? Not really when you're up there. Let's take it on the 15 minutes. Obviously, it's a downtrend. This is making it up. Okay, what is that? That's your breakout point. That's your 786. That's your 618 there. 50 period above you, 15-minute time frame. Didn't make it beyond a golden pocket. Not very positive, not very positive at all. If instead we take this from breakout zone, made it to the 86 and not beyond, so very Bitcoin of it. At the same time, you're getting kissed on the Rick and Morty lip style on the DMI and your momentum. Boom, boom, boom. All suggesting that that trend was correct. Its momentum followed the price action. 192.68. This is where we need to be. Kind of need to be higher. Anyway, back down at the minute. And did it all to it again. Well, looks even more impressive. I'm not sure if I'm a fan of MACD on this particular stage, but we'll leave it here for the minute. You're above the 200. What does it look like on the 30 with this MACD actually? Brutal, brutal, brutal. You're never given a sell signal on it properly. No. Nope. No. No. 30 minutes got that gap at 204.98 because of the drop. 1 hour. No real gap on the hourly. Or at least I didn't see it. So there it is. 4 hours. So what did I just not see on the hourly? Like, what did I just not see? Like, this gap between 203 to 204.83. Something to pay attention to. Breaking above that would be interesting. Wouldn't necessarily expect it to happen though. Rightio. So we did that. What's the next things? We'll do AMC similarly. 40, 36. There we go. It's up $2. That's a big change percentage wise. Bing, 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 bong. Look at my lines. No one does lines as good as me. It just doesn't happen. And that, so if you've been watching the AMCTA for the past week, 2 weeks, you won't have been surprised about price action at all. Congratulations. Congratulations on not being surprised. How wonderful it must feel. You should encourage Rocky to do the same, please, for my benefit as well. What? Ooh, Tradespotting. You should encourage Rocky to do the same for me. To do what? What are we talking about, City Beeps? What did you say before there? Thanks for the reminder. What reminder? Unfannied myself and like. Thanks for the reminder. You're welcome. Like level, yeah, like say please. Like do not equal chat participants. Yeah, fannies. Yeah, it is weird when the amount of people watching is more than the amount of people that it likes. Like, it's not that this, I don't mind that, but the concurrent viewers are still more than the likes. But the amount of playbacks, I can tell you, is already at 1,330. So like, loads of people have tuned in and then not had time to watch or got every reason, and then haven't even clicked like, which is like great. But YouTube then punishes the video for everyone. So would you mind taking a look at Illiquid? Sure, no problem. The ghost of the Jitsu guy, the ghost of the Jitsu guy. He sacrificed himself very recently, and that's what we benefited from that great luck. Just want to hide his face. Why would this benefit you, Kitty Babes, you silly Billy? I've made GME fibs 184.50 for 4 weeks. You and Rocky are amazing, Tradespotting. Amazing. Amazing. It's amazing. How come we be so amazing? What is the Moon Cobra say? He's hiding because he needs to scratch. Scratch. Itchy. Yeah, this is like intense itch. Can you talk about liquidity zones and how to identify and use T9 advantage? T9 liquidity zones. Hello, we can do. There's an easy way of doing liquidity zones. You would say that, wouldn't you? I'll just turn off this that I'm not using then. You could have done for me, but you're too fucking wide, Trade of you. Give me it. Oh, right, I don't want it twice. Once is enough. Boom, 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 boom. Boom, 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 boom. I don't know. 24. It's alright, really. Style. I'll just keep that the same for now. Just keep most of it the same for now because I'll show you. So there's this VPR, visible profile, volume profile, visible range, pardon me. It's like it does it based on what you can see at the time. So like you make more visible and then you get a different range, and then it calculates a point of control, which is either a red line in this case, and or the biggest node on these markers on your right, and this is your VPVR. So very much like the VWAP, but also it adds in extra information. It's calculated differently, and it is a different thing. Points to similar information, just does it in a slightly better way. If you, or the way I do technical analysis, this is more, gives you more information. It's up to you what you like. I don't care. Yeah, so it comes in at around, on AMC at around $44. Now that's like defining a liquidity zone. How's that a liquidity zone, Jamie? Because that line of control is where most trades have happened in all of this visible range. And now that I've moved more on, you can see that the most trades have actually happened at 47 when you put this on most volume. And when you put all of this on, then you can see, that's not where the scale is anymore, it's over here. See, that comes in at around $38, you know, so you have to put more and more lower price action on it to get this down. And obviously because price action. So here you can see that most people that have bought this thing since here are underwater. Not just because the fact that price action is below where it's historically been for most of the time, because that doesn't mean anything, right? That doesn't mean that most people are underwater, because the volume doesn't work like it could have all come in here, right? It could have everyone who, vast majority of people could have bought it here. They haven't, but it could have been. In which case you would say, hey, they're not all underwater. But when you look at it, look across here, you're like, they are all underwater. Anyone who's bought it since the 25th of August, right? So essentially, it's that I've been saying, don't be buying AMC anytime soon. They've all been buying it, and everyone that's been buying it or selling it within this area, either of those two things, anyone who's done any trades, has done it at $47 or thereabouts, which is why now that is a liquidity zone, because that's where all the liquidity is. So there's one way of defining like important liquidity zones, and then you can be like, well, what is it when it's here? Well, and this will move for you and tell you where that now the most important one is, and you could mark them on if that's like, well, where are the defining highs and lows? Well, here's a definitive high here, so one we just about equaled here. And here's your lows all within that point. Where's the, and you can see it's at $37. So within all of this, these people are just in profit. And then, I mean, you obviously add this on, it gets a little bit worse. until such times as it doesn't. It gets a little bit better. But anyway, there, up again, 46.47. So like 46.47 is a liquidity zone. Drag it across here and you can see 37 is a liquidity zone. So there's $10 range and there's 2 liquidity zones. Why is it likely to be liquidity zones? Because people traded it there before, so that's where their stops will be. It'll be where they're trading it again. If they've taken the trade once, they'll take it twice. It's where if you break that zone, it likely goes the other direction, and so you'll see increased trading activity for that. And yeah, it's support and resistance haven't been there before, so you'll see little people waiting to come back so that they can re-enter the trade. That's the way it goes. So that's some information about liquidity zones, though there is probably more. Alex Freeman, you're welcome, Alex. Hopefully that helps you come up with them slightly quicker. There are other ways of doing it, you know. You can do it, and I do it in terms of in another sense. I do it for various other reasons, but people do exactly what I do for a different reason. They'll go like 4-hour candle closes, and they'll go across here and they'll say like 1 body, 2 body, 3 body, 4 body, 5 body, and they'll say like they're $33. That's a liquidity zone. They'll go up here and they'll say 1, 2, 3, 4, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Say look, $37, right? We already talked about that. That's the liquidity zone, and they do the same thing. And that's like you're talking about the number of times it touched it. You're talking about the significance of it as support and resistance, and there's various implications for that. And that's the narrative my brain would then start going down doing TA on. But you could just say like, and therefore it's a liquidity zone. You could just stop doing TA and say that at that point, and then move on to something else. And that's another equally valid way of doing TA. Welcome, Alex. Simone, got myself 3 more tickets to the GME show today. Simone, Simone, boom, boom, boom. I'm gonna buy some GME. Just wanted to let you know I got my Reasonable Land t-shirt this last week. It's awesome. Thank you. Yes. Yes. Yes, yes, yes. The Jew friend. That Jew friend, thank you very much for supporting the channel and getting that Bing Bong t-shirt. I'm super glad it arrived. Yeah, I'm pissed off the way they send them out, so they need flattened a little bit. That is like a disappointing arrival thing with this particular shipping. But can he help the bastards? Wish they would fix that. Still glad you bought it. It does look good, doesn't it? It's lovely, jubbly. Thanks so much. Oh, that was my Reasonable Land. You're so unreasonable. So you're talking about... Oh, you're talking about I'm never going back t-shirt. Well, you know that now costs $850. So you got some bargain there, buddy, even though there was a huge delay on delivery. Tradespotting, thanks for keeping the feed alive for us on the west coast of Stonk America and Canastonk. So, no problem. Keep it alive for you guys. It's all about West Coastonians around here. What? But I'm born and raised on the east side. What? Brian Hoddle, lol, Attack on Titans is alright. Main character name is Weak Aaron Blah. Sorry, Aaron. I don't mean to offend, but Aaron? There's a couple of Aarons here. Good lads, too. Oh, Shane. Michael, you're not an idiot for asking a question, mate. What was the question? Where is it? So what you say about liquidity zones? I may be an idiot here. No, you're not. You're not an idiot. Oh, if we hit the 350 mark again on GME, would that translate into a high volatility? Because a lot of people bought in around that area. Well, volatility is measured as an expression of a range. So if you went from $1 to $400, that would be high volatility. It would be relatively high volatility if your average true range for any 1 hour was $5 and it did it $400 in 5 minutes. That would be relatively high volatility. Volatility is obviously measured against the volatility within the own asset. And so the way that you'd measure its previous historical volatility is very important. I like to do it as a percentage of its own moves, because then it's truly relevant and of its own implicit behavior. And so that's a real measure. And it's not, I don't just talk about volatility like other people do. Now, I'm not going to name names here, but like they're really popular all of a sudden, these people. They talk about volatility and they think it means something completely that it doesn't mean. Just like they also do with volume. They don't understand. I'm not really fucking interested in critiquing somebody else's learning. They can go off and do it themselves and spend 20 years and get better. And I'm not going to do it for somebody who completely and utterly convinced they're completely right, so I'll just be a fucking argument with somebody when I'm actually trying to help them. Not get involved in the conversation. Let them run their own life off a cliff. Go for it. So that's how you would express volatility, right? It's a measurement of a range. If we hit 350, if you were to say that that was somehow high volatility, we'd have to have come from way low down. And when you would be saying it was high, you'd be referring to something, and likely it would be itself. So we'd have to do it in a quicker period of time than we've ever moved a move like that before for you to say it was really, really high volatility, just slightly above average to be higher than normal, of course. And so it's not a stupid question at all. It's a good question. It helps me explain things again. So thank you very much. So when I say about liquidity zones, what I'm saying is that those areas have been that I was identifying earlier of where they've most frequently found trades. And so that's where you're likely have previously found the highest degree of liquidity by definition. It's just liquidity. It's the number of transactions. That's all liquidity really means. You can get on the book liquidity, which is like orders sat there waiting to be taken. It may or may not be real. I have a rule of only wearing t-shirts that cost more than $900, but I need an exception for the free you sent. Haha! You got free, Dan. I'm glad. Very glad. Only very few people have got those t-shirts, and they were the ones who first were like, I'll support Tradespotting. Didn't even really know me back then, so thank you so much. Like, you got that t-shirt, and every time I was like, right, I'm sending this out, and every single one of them was sending it, I was like, this person means a lot to me, thanks. Tradespotting, I think you forgot something, lol. What did I forget? I probably did. What was the next question? The Ocean had a lot more in the question. But if we hit the 350 mark again, would that translate into high volatility? Because a lot of people bought in around that area. Oh, right, well, a lot of people bought in around that area. Well, let's see, like when you put on like to get that area, and this is AMC, that'll be one of the things that I forgot. GME. Here's you got like the 350. I mean, I want to put it on like this most, like where like anywhere the price action went to its previous high and then low again, because you're back here already, right? So, and then I'll cut that bit off before the up move, and you'd say even with the visible range on here and all that, you can say that although some people bought it at 350 here, and here, and for every buy there's a sell, so equally if somebody sold it down here, you would think like, well, this is the area line of control, right? Because this is where far more trades came in. I mean, this is what this indicator tells you. Actually, when you got all of this on the go, the liquidity zones are actually below you when you're talking about previous historical price action being up there. And that would be natural, right? Far more people are likely to have bought it in the middle of a range than they are at the top or the bottom of one, which is why that would be the middle, right? That's how these things evolve. But actually, really positively for GME, when you slap it all on and you put all of these on, you can see that, well, actually, there weren't that many trades happening up here. Yeah, sure, the price got up here, but not that many trades, buys, or sales happened relative to the amount of transactions that came in when we dropped down to $40 again. Like, here's like shitloads of transactions. And for every buy, there's a sell. And for every sell, there's a buy. If you're doing it, if I'm doing it, not if Kenny G and his pals, though, allegedly. Lepton, though we know, I say allegedly, but I don't have to, because we've already, right, and I say it because Kenny G and pals, like, and we specifically attribute the blame to somebody potentially, allegedly, in that moment, so we say allegedly. But we know if we take that antagonist out of it, we know that they were illegally short in this thing, and that we saw the people on TV crying and stuff. Like, we know what happened. So anyway, you're saying, like, here's your line of control, and that's the liquidity zone. And yeah, though, you're right in the sense that a lot of people did do transactions around $350, specifically around 343, because you also build in like body closes of important candles, and the weeklies come in there enough times for it to mean something. So there's other considerations when you get up there over and above liquidity zones, and it being a previous peak likely means that it forms some form of resistance, though we have done it once, twice, 3 times. So if you hit it again, then you likely hit it another time in quick succession straight afterwards. And I think it would be a liquidity zone at that point, because I could see after you break above there it being a heavy test, and should it come back, and the narrative will have changed by then, however how the price goes before it then retests 350. There'll be a lot of people buying it there that have been like, nah, GME is not going to happen. And they watch it go way on above, and they're like, I wish I had to listen to Tradespotting. And then it comes back to 350, and they end up buying it around there. Right? It's 341, 343. That's actually the area, but they'll go in, and then they'll be like, well, I can get it there, and they will, and they'll get it up in that, and the lucky cougars. And I don't know if it'll come back that much, or how long it'll go before it, or whatever, but that'll be what they think. After May 11th, and the following bing bong, I checked every prediction you made on YouTube and decided that even if you were a PIDA, murderer, political conservative, I'd have to listen to your GME predictions. Yes, you have to. You can't avoid them. Punctuation shame. Have I punctuated him? His name was HJ. Whose name? Homer's ghost. You see, the real reason why we've had this drop in price action and how I was able to predict it was because Homer thwarted the plan of the gods by being an early sacrifice, an unplanned and unscheduled sacrifice. And the gods were displeased. Tradespotting, thank you for explaining that. It really helps. Yeah, I guess. I mean, if we broke above it and retested it, it's trying to learn, and you're a legend for helping. Oh, thank you. You're super welcome. So I keep calling you Ocean, Ozine, Ewan, Owen. Call you all sorts of different names, so I'm glad you're still my friend. You would quite likely hate me if you wanted to. It'd be perfectly understandable. Understandables. Tradespotting, when liquid. Good shout. When liquid. Whoop whoop. What time is it, by the way? Oh, fuck. Markets closed, did they? How did I manage to miss all that? We closed at 122 above the 236. That is a 4-hour close. That is positive for GME. Congratulations. I'll do liquid quickly, and then I'll try the Busy Ape series. Let's see, and I hope the recording works. Have I spelled it right? Seems so. I've done this on the charts before, but I now don't have any drawings. Where is my drawings gone? Oh, fuck, I hate this stupid drawing disappearing. Bollocks. God, that. Well, once upon a time there was a woman, but then she died because of a very bad joke. The end. Then I woke up. It was all a dream. History, that's an amazing story. Tradespotting are looking wild. Looking real wild. Blink, 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 blink. Unless you're Jamie, and then you're like, hey, yo, this is what you said would happen. Then you're like, yo, you said it would happen. Then, yo, it's the best performer on the FTSE again. Yo, hasn't that not been 5 days out of the last 11 that something like that Rolls-Royce has been the best performer on the London Stock Exchange? How does he do these things? I go do liquid before I forget about it, because this is, these things hate me. So it's up, what percentage then? 5, is that right? 5, not bad, up 5% considering. What did we say? I don't know. I mean, Jujutsu guy, did I do TNS that you can remember? Because I can't fucking remember it myself. Boom, 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 boom. Right, so that came back. We went all the way down to the 786 bounce. There's the golden pocket of this retrace down. We got into that. Bitcoin constellation broke above it, held by the 200. Come back, test the top side of it. Now, this is what would happen in Jamie Land. Won't drop that on. You can see that's also on the 4-hour, where our 50 period moving average is coming in. What was this? Where did that red horizontal come from? Ah, it's the line of control over here. Sorry. The VWAP sticks in. So when you look at all of this, most trades have come in exactly where we are at the minute. So in order to break above that, you'd want something extra. And what you see in terms of the oscillators on this time frame, still in the bullish control zone. Your DI positive and your ADX are above 38, and you've got a positive great move on the MACD. Your momentum was great. That was all very good. Having previously touched this top of the overbought zone, let's go back and see how it did that before. That was so much further through it though. Rejected in down. If RSI stays in here on a 4-hour time frame, and you'd be laughing. The 200 period moving average at 22.97 is nearly a stick on for a test. I would totally expect it. 50 period moving up. This low, that new high. Tradespotting, do you agree with Super Stonk? Stonk Motion, Super Stonk agree with me. They've all been copying me. It's fucking bullshit, mate. And next time you see somebody say some of that shit, go ahead and say to them, oh, so you're just copying Tradespotting then? Because they fucking are. It's bollocks, man. It's fucking bollocks. And I'm getting fed up now. It's gone beyond the point where anyone will ever be able to say, does Tradespotting agree with, right? It's gone beyond, right? Now it is, do they agree with Tradespotting? Because I'm better than the collective now. And I'm sick of it. I'm sick of the shit I get off people everywhere. Tradespotting, most recent daily RODM flash shows a 35% retracement. Why have I not got Rocket Crypts DMAN? I do have it on. There's flash there. What time period are we talking? But yeah, I agree that it is. I would agree, because I mean, I can't own the formation, right? I can't own the formation. Here's your SPY. And there's a number of different formations, right? There's this bearish wedge, right? There's two. We predicted the first one, and we said this support line. We got all these calls. You know all this, mate. You've seen some of this, right? This was the wedge that everyone on Super Stonk's probably talking about, right? Now I've seen them draw it, like, despite how obvious it is that that's exactly what I've got there. I've seen people draw this, say that was the wedge, right? That isn't the wedge. I've seen people draw that at the start and be like, is that what they do when I was talking about a wedge, and they all started talking about, no, that isn't the wedge. None of that's the wedge. The wedge is none of that. The wedge is this wedge. That one within this one within this one. And this is the measured move that you want to be looking at. Take up there. There's your breakdown from this bit here. And there you got it, right? You got the exact move on it already. So boom. Right, that's that. Back to Liquid, and I like you, mate. So sorry I came out so annoyed about that, but I am just annoyed. Like, do I concur with Super Stonk? Like, Super Stonk are the collective, you know. They don't have a singular opinion on anything. Not that I'm saying they and differentiating myself from it, because I contributed along there now considerable amount of times myself. But they agree with me. Yeah, they would agree with me on that. And that wedge, right? And there isn't anyone on Super Stonk that does technical analysis anywhere near as good as me. There's only a few people of them around, eh? And that sounds like arrogant, but there isn't, eh? So fuck it. How should we buy an HTCC stock, Tradespotting? I don't know. I'll look at that in a second, my friend. Do I agree with Tradespotting? Yes. Thanks, Sarah. Sorry for being wide there, mate. And that as to get fucked off with it all. And although I do love Super Stonk for like nothing to do with their technical analysis, nor the way they talk about mine, which is like a lot of people love it. But then there's this technical analysis doesn't work. Like, great, good on you. What do I think about this Liquid thing? Right. Well, where was the Jiu-Jitsu guy? What do I agree with? What Jiu-Jitsu guy? Where message retracted? Where was the flash? Are you talking about in a 4-hour? This one moved down, was closed. That was a good one. 1 hour. Have I got extended hours on or something? Yeah, just go regular. Thanks. 1 hour. I've not had a flash for a while. Let's go back to the daily and work our way down that way. There is the flash, right? Prices were at the time. Here, I think they've closed that one out with this move back. It was quite a big move. What did you get off that? 20% of the price. Down and then up again. Well, that's printing you money. Congratulations, Rocky. Well done again. That's the one you're talking about, is closed. On 12-hour, you've had the 2 repetitions of it. On the 12-hour, you got that one as well. Where is it? Here? That. Another one started, back to it. 4-hour, it was way back here. Is it closing that out? Where is that ended? Here. It was on this candle. It's closing that out at the minute too on a 4-hour. It's just like pretty good indicator. Yeah, so that's that. Yeah, mate. You're right. But that flash is played out. With regards to the Fibonacci, I can see you're now at a natural level there with 618. Poking your head above it, interesting. Don't necessarily expect it to go on anymore though. Why not? We've touched up with bullish stroll and came back up again, but don't stay in it for all that long. Likely it slips down and sits underneath it, and you fail to break this overall horizontal resistance. For a while, you've got a cross coming in on the 1 hour. How's that done on the lower time frames? No real test of the 200 since 30 minutes. That's good strength there, and that's positive sign on the DMI, and that's nice, but... And you have, I suppose, technically poked your head above 23. What would I think about this then? I'd think like you want to get a reach. You don't want this to drop below 236. You want to continue the trend onwards. And you don't want to be looking at this and thinking, divergence, which is like what's happening at the minute. So you need price action to go higher, because it's already higher. You need to keep going, and for this RSI to keep going with it, so that regardless of how much higher price action gets, this RSI gets at least as high as it previously was, if not higher. Otherwise, you're bearishly divergent. And it's gonna be hard to go higher because you're already really extended on that, and so you would completely expect this to come back at this point and test the 200 period moving average, which is also where your line of control is at $19.84. It's a huge percentage chunk down from where we are. It's beyond the 236, so it might not happen. Be back into your bullish below this breakdown point again, so you wouldn't want to go much further than the 0.5 or the 618 if possible, but the 618 is still down at 18, so the 0.5, where's that coming at? 1987 again. It's likely that 1987 or $20 is where you get a re-entry on this thing, and it sees what it's going to do next. Despite even the indicators I'd normally use telling me to go long, I can't because of where this RSI is, and because of the nature of this divergence. It's already sticking its head up. You can't jump in on. I couldn't jump in on this now. Down a 15-minute. There's even more of that divergence. It's rank looking now. Your DI positive is 1, but that's the nature of the higher highs. The ADX shows you, I shouldn't have even had that. Like, that's fake. Everything after this is just speculators jumping in. They're lucky at all. Most of them are going to get burnt, actually. It's going to come down. It's either going to 19 or it's going lower. That's what I'd look at from that. If it does go on, great. I wouldn't short it right now, although maybe I would, actually. Right now, can't because the markets are closed. There's no point in taking the risk of looking in the morning, but... there's a trade on this one. It's short at the minute. Looking left, there's your horizontal resistance. Get a little bit above there. Is this a good trade? Let me see the risk reward on it. Take it down to, oops. Okay, that's not that I want. It's the, yeah, nope. Long and then put you back here. Not that I can remember where that was. Where was it? The entry would be now, so I can get that bit. Entry now. Stop above. Horizontal looking left. You've got a number of options. I'm not even going to wait for all of them. Take it to there. And then I would take this trade and I'd hope to get it to the 618 at this stage, and that's 3-to-1, higher than 3-to-1 risk reward. I could take that. What have I got on my MACD? 30 minutes, cross, above the 200 though. You're above the 200, but you've got the divergence, but you don't have the right sign because your DI positive and ADX are putting up, so you can't take that short. I couldn't take that short. Take this one though. That's the trade I'd take on this until further notice. It's even better than the other one. That's a 5-to-1, and that's more my chocolatey, biscuity style, to be honest. Although it may go up, it might do well, and that's why I've got to stop. But that's how you make money. That's what my technicality is. Same thing it says about everything else. Do it the same on everything. It's not like I invent something new way of doing it or whatever in jiu-jitsu guy. It's just that's what it is. So that's what it says. Mind you, to stop there. So if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. It's not financial advice. If it was, it would come with a stop. So that it was good financial advice. Why is Rolls Royce kept losing its colour? Get back on there. Right. What else was I going to talk about? I'm sorry if I've been wide or arrogant or that. What will we talk about next? I'll happily talk about anything. What are we talking about? We've got to have some sort of impromptu party for Homer's ghost, who sacrificed himself impromptu himself. So we'll party for Homer. Yeah. It's great. It's great. Thanks. I'll have to mark these things down. There's a difference, of course, between the jiu-jitsu guy, Dan Ernest, and Carissa. And that we drank from Disgills, and it brought us excellent luck. Homer, though, on the other hand, is thwarting the will of the gods. So it's happened now. It's happened. Created a whole new type of viewer in itself. This ghost of Homer. Right, okay, excellent. Everyone's excellent. Tradespotting, just tell me when Moas. Order is gone. When Moas? Well, it's open and close on the weekly chart over $343. Is when? When is that? When is... See, this is the question. You'll always get the same answer at Tradespotting. And you say to me, yo, Jamie, where is the best place to be right now? And I'd say the best place, the place to be right now is now. And people are like, hey, what? And that's the answer. It is the real answer. You know, it's just the wrong question. And then people say, when Moas? And I say, when we've open and close at 343 on a weekly time frame. And they say, Jamie, but that's the y-axis. And I say, yes, this is the answer. 343. 343. At that point, you've defeat Wyckoff distribution. And, you know, the moves that come after that are fucking crazy. Plus, it's will be then close to all blue sky breakout period. And having done what GME's done already, then it could go to 1,250 or 900 and odd bucks. Or 800 or 700. At any of those stages, you'll be like, boom, this is so good. And then you're not really worried anymore. And that's the way it be. You go, GME, where is the best place to be right now? Now. Tradespotting, don't make turn this Moas around. Don't make turn this Moas around. I don't know what. Yes. Lol. Are we there yet? 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 Hadouken! Right, Brian Hoddle, you legend. Brian Hoddle's absolute legend. If you don't know him, unlucky, because he's a freaking amazing, cool, happy, such an enthusiastic, brilliant person to be talking to. Love the guy. Love him. There he is. Freethinker McJones. How you doing, Freethinker McJones? You very much are a freethinker. I like you, my friend. I haven't seen you in a couple of days. Probably more than a couple of days. How are you doing? So generally, how are you doing? Cowboy Chipmunk, I know you. I recognize you. You're like the ghost of Christmas. So now, Cryan is saying the only way to Moas is by registering your shares with Computershare. Aye. I thought Cryan was the one that came up with the cycle that everyone was giving me shit about on the internet. I was like, how can you say that when Cryan said this is a cycle? It's like, because he's a different human being from me, innit? Like... So that's how Tradespotting. I bought the dip today at 186. Boom! Nice. Well done, Riley. Good catch. Could we see an even larger dip this week on GME to add more though? We could do. Could go down to 172, but I don't expect it to. Are we back there yet? What did I do? Have I been shit? If I haven't done a good enough job for you, Jiu-Jitsu guys, just tell me and I'll redo it. You've got this demand line here coming in at 170, right? And obviously this doesn't catch all the lows on that time frame. Go to 4 hours a little bit. Wait a minute. What's going on here? This is a different chart. This one? See, I should have just kept the things where they were already. Why have I got lines in on this chart anyway? Let me check. wish I could remember what I was talking about. Ah, cool. Yeah, boom, bang. Yeah, I did all that. Excellent. See, I would have drawn this away. I'd drawn this so long ago. Amazing. Sorry. Wow. Anyway, what I was actually looking for here, I could just do this all day and then everyone would hate me. Right. Don't know which chart it was I did it on. What was the question again? So I've forgotten the question. Oh, 170s. Can we get in there? I did it at the start of the show. I was talking about why it might go there. What was that again? There's a number of reasons. What was it? It's an 86 instead of a 786. I thought it might go all the way to 86. Was that TME was saying that about? What was it? I can't remember. I don't want to just make it up. Just do the TE again, see when it shows up, shall I? What was it? What was it? It says demand line. Here, catching those two lows. Yes. And then 180. Oh yeah, like the bottom of this level below us. Yeah. Okay, right. Yes. So what did I think? Well, there's the 50 and 200. You're below them, right? Was this hourly? We'll drop down early and do it there. It's the first important one. Below the 50, drop down, pushed it below the 200, cover the 200. You likely go back to the 50. That's $200. Likely test $200. And that's being said, it would have to get above the 50% line. It's only really just got there at the minute. From its drop down, let me just double check now. I know I've got other fibs on, but 192. 12, if it did the above the 236 there, and of this breakdown candle, you're above the 50% already. Okay, that's positive. Okay, so you're looking at 195 to 197, right? 195 to 197 is like the top area of this based on like horizontal support and resistance. Jeff! Thanks, Jeff. That's a nice cat's face. Is that a cat's face? What's going on? Looks like a freaking tiger, Jeff. Thank you very much. Very generous, gorgeous human being. Right, so why was I talking about this area? 886, likely resistance on the top side. There's a likely be a liquidity zone, right, as well. For a start, it's equal. It's equal as the point of control. So in terms of where most trades have happened, it's in around that level. It's also, where you find lots of different buddy closes. Wait, we talked about it loads. Okay, I must repeat myself. The 200 period moving average here, if you don't hold it, you'll likely go down and test this. Demand line comes in around the 618 of this Fibonacci here, golden pocket retrace, which is what I half expected to happen anyway. And then it'd be a fake out drop from this formation. It has to go back in again. So it may well be that you come down, you test 176. The bottom end of that's 172. That's likely to happen. Be a fake out drop from here back into that formation. If that doesn't happen, it could come all the way down to this like sloping diagonal demand line. Sloping diagonal. At which case you'll likely get caught by that, and you'll definitely get caught by these are huge bounces areas, right? So like the question of whether it comes down there or not is different. This is like a lot more extended. It's a lot less likely just off the top of your like fact it's so much further away, and the range of these candles and the formation you've put in before, and the likelihood of if it did happen, how you'd be then like, well, this is completely factored out, and like I have to look down for like down to $130 again. It's possible, right? Anything's possible, but it's unlikely. The 786 and the 886, these are the places I'd aim for re-entries if it was coming down at $180 and then 100. That's the wrong fib. Anyway, it's the 618 I'd be looking at. Yeah, sorry, it's 618 if I fake out from this formation, which is $172 at the lower end of it. If it does, then it'll go. If it drop beyond that, it'll contest like 162. And beyond there, I wouldn't be expecting anything lower at that time because the demand line coming in there, and how at that point, if it does break this and that itself is being consistent, putting in this trend, then does it go back to this one here, 138? Nah. Does it go this one here, 131? Nah, probably not. More likely goes around these areas, at which point, you know, you're looking at extensions down here on this Fibonacci. Happy to talk about those if you want, but I'm like, okay, well, we'll be happy to hear it. And anyway, I don't think that's going to happen. Don't even think it's going to necessarily get back to these areas, right? I don't know if I think you'll get this 172. If it got to 176, I'd buy it. I don't think it'll get there. I'd buy it at 786 within this bigger formation, get 186 again, you know, that sort of price that you got at earlier. It's likely to be the best one. Unless something terrible happens and everything spreads bad, in which case we'll probably see it coming, and I think there'll be an up test on the top side before any of that happens. To be honest. What did I miss out on? Duke a Pringle. Cook a Pringle. Cook one. Hi HD. Hi Observe Thyself. Stephen F. Tradespotting. Hi Jamie, what are your favourite EMA and MA intervals and why? My favourite are the 200 and the 50 period simple moving averages, because those are the ones that constitute the death cross. They're the most important. 200 period moving average is a trend check that I use and the best traders in the world use. I'm also a big fan of the 279 period moving average, which I'm going to let everybody figure out why I like that so much. And maybe someone will tell me sometime and I'll be like, hey, that's interesting. That person figured that out, but I'm not going to, but it's just trivial, really. Though it's very important for price action. I also like 18 period. I mean, it depends what you're doing it for. Like if I'm measuring a trend and if what timeline I'm on, right? If I'm in a weekly time frame and I'm looking at a bullish as fuck trend, I'm like, where's the 8 period moving average? I'm going to use this. I'm going to love this. I'm going to cuddle this. I'm going to speak to this. I'm not really interested in anything else. If I'm measuring like slightly longer, smaller time frames, and building in, like, depends on how volatile the asset is and whatnot, and what its true range is on any typical day, in which case then I might be going for the 18 or the 21. Or if I'm looking at different type of assets, bonds maybe, and I'm looking at other time frames, like much longer time frames, like monthly and yearly time frames, or multiple year time frames, or multiple year time frames, which you often have to do if you're trading bonds and that sort of thing. Then I could look at anything from the 5 to the 55 and a combination amount for them. And what else? I'm a big fan of the atomic magic numbers. Hey, so I have them on every so often. Bum, bum. It's all about the interactions between moving averages. You know, there's so many different nuanced things to it, and there isn't an answer to trading where someone can be this one, and this one, and then you've got it, because they all work counterintuitive to how you might first imagine, and then they'll all have an interesting dynamic between them, and then there'll be bits you can learn from one to the other, my friends. My friends. You know, so I'd ask you, my friends, Stefan, and other people like you, my friends, when you see other people talking about Jamie, of which there are a number of them, and for those who've stuck it through, proud of all of them, good people, you'll see that often they'll say in your presence, yeah, but technical analysis doesn't work because of X, Y, and Z, or I think it's very difficult for technical. You could say to them, you're right, but it works for Tradespotting. So that's all I ask of you. Buy and huddle, leave. Love listening to Tradespotting pronounce Sarah Restano's name. Restano. It's Sarah Restano. I love Sarah Restano and her name. She's amazing. She's a hard worker. She's a cool person. She's lovely. She's talented. She's cool. She's friendly. She's very cool. Sarah Restano. But I've said her name wrong a million times. Mostly on purpose. I am Kenny's divorce contract. Oh, wow. You could get framed and put on the wall. That's nice. That's lovely. Wow. There you go. Wows. Wows is right, and it's true. Matt's boys. There he is. MATIC USD. Any thoughts? MATIC. Oh, don't we love you, MATIC. Where are you, MATIC? There you are. 11% down. Bang! It got fucking hammered. Hammered, though it did. Hammered. This will have gone through my stop loss, but 100%. Problem profit. I'll have to check that. Oh, damn it, today's been so busy. Right, okay. Who knows? I'm sure it was. Right. It's fine now. Anyway, big boom, boom, boom. What is that in terms of? This is what I'm interested in right now. On the right nows, it's only at the 0.5. Bing, bing, bing. How long has that lasted? Just up in my head. How long is that from its previous? This one here. Okay. Long enough. Right. This is a harmonic. There, little X to A. A, B, C. Where'd your D come in? I'll let you tell me. There's your X to your A. There's your B. A, B retrace. 618. Here's your B to C up to 236, which we also know is oops. She also knows this is 618 here. It's just this 618, as we told you. Look, so 618, 618, and then what's going to happen here, and what harmonic is that? And if you've tuned into the harmonics trading class, how rich are you, by the way, with knowledge? And so what I think is going to happen on MATIC, it's going to likely find a D, and that D will likely be, quite possibly might be as disastrously low as, well, I mean, there's a number of places. Depending on exactly which harmonic you find yourself in here. And not 0.692, that'd be very dramatic there. 618 here at 0.928, and that'd be the first place I'd look for an entry on this thing. Managing risk very, very carefully with these horizontals, which are quite clear. Let's see around there. Just slap this on. I don't know if this would be the end all and end all, be all and end all. You might have to trade this trade a number of times from a number of different places to get the right one. I'm sure you could stop out and profit in most of these sort of moves if you enter it the right way, the right time, of course. And I'm not going to default my previous TA, like that'll be then relevant for other things looking left. So 1414, that's a bit brutal, don't expect that. 707 here, 1414 is a Fibonacci extension, the 707 is the 886, I expect that, not necessarily, but possibly. At the first place I'd look to trade this would be at 947. I know that's a bit of a drop already from where we are, but that's the way it is. So I think about it. And then what did I expect it to do afterwards? Go up. I expect it to go up afterwards. Why have I got this on? Drop this on. Put it in that place. Do that there. I don't want that anyway. I don't want that. I'm not short on this. I don't short alts that way. I'd go long Bitcoin versus an alt and that. Chris, Tradespotting, what do you think about ADA drop into the 170-ish zone for our bearish Gartley? On what time frame was that? On 3 hours. I don't know if I have that by default. I do not. 3 hours. And what was it? Sorry, Chris. ADA, yeah. I was looking at ADA earlier on to myself, and 170-ish on 3 hours. So, yeah, where's today's low? 1.970. So you think a further extension to, I've just read it, what was it? 170-ish. Do me. Right, I'll mark it on so I stop being stupid. Here I've already got a line here at this. I've already got a horizontal at 169. Which I'm obviously not going to move now that it's at 69. Why is it there? Oh, this measured move from this. No. I would like to know why I've got that there, Jimmy. don't think it's going to get below there anyway. Yeah, you're right, actually. It is about 1.7 that. What are all these? These are all Fibonacci's that are no longer relevant, right? Is that correct? No, that's this move to that move. Oh, this was the extension on the downside of this. Oh, it already went to the 2414. Right, okay, yeah, this is what this was, yeah. Zoom in a bit there. Nope, that's not that button. This was this low to this high. Price couldn't hold the 236, went to the 618, broke the 618. We're going to the 886, broke the 886. At that point, they were going to the 1414. Came in here, put in a low, came back, tested it. Once they failed to breathe back above the 1414, they're likely going to the 2414. Touched it, came back heavy to 1618. At the very least, you'd expect it to go back up to 1414. It didn't even fucking, did it? Oh, it did make, no, it didn't even make it. And then on to the, really? Will it go on and then do it again? But it might be. It's the bearish. What was it? What were we talking about? What was it? Look up that in a second, Corman. What was it Chris did there? Was it 3-year bearish Gartley? Diddly. This is your X to your A. There's a deep retrace there. This must be your X to your A. 618, right? X, A. I can't see cause I am blind. Diddly. Gone to the 786. So if it is this, if it is these areas, then that's more than it needed to go. It's gone beyond the 618, so beyond the Gartley, but it could be others. Let me just see if I've got this right. Actually, it's not. It's like that more. But then this like this more. We're on the 3 hour. That's correct. Okay, if not history, then I'm really curious about Cosmos. Keep telling me, I'll get round to it, mate. Basati, keep telling me, I will get round to it. And Corming, if I forget your question, tell me again. Were you just referring to the contagion effect of the Evergrande? What are your thoughts? How widespread is pain going to be felt? Good question, Corman. Yeah, we'll get back to that Evergrande question. Is it? Yeah, they're the largest issuer of US debt. They're the largest corporate issuer of US debt outside of America in the world by a considerable distance. It's very, very significant. They're also not they're not the only company of that nature in trouble in China by a long stretch of the imagination. By a long distance. Tradespotting, what do you think about it? Add a one for the bearish Gartley. Right, okay, sorry, I'm not answering a million questions. I'm not answering any of them properly in a minute. This was what I expected, the continuation of this extension. It's been done so well. So I would stick with this because it's got so well, but I'd also build that in, that idea of harmonic. It doesn't necessarily have to be Gartley. It's definitely something going on there. And their exterior could be other ones like perhaps you're thinking, and this is totally legit too, right? I don't care about the x-axis and harmonics, right? It could easily be, this would be down to, like, if that be your x to your A, nah, because then you had to retrace all the way 886 already. So it would be like, it could be a crazy ass fucker of a bad one. Otherwise, it's not a harmonic there. Or are we talking this one? In which case, there's your X to your A. There's your 618 retrace here. Not quite, but close enough is near enough, and near enough is good enough for me. So cool, I'm going with that actually. And then, if that is your X to your A, pardon me now, it's also busy with so many fibs on. What am I just doing? I do that all the time. Like, why does that happen to me? Stop doing that, Jimmy. X to your A. Came in, you got your 618 again. No. Yeah, you did. You got it. double check. I'll take it right across so I can. 1618, 1618, 618, 618. Okay. 618 retrace. 618 retrace. 382, and then on again. See there, 1618. Where is the 1618 on that? I mean, I've probably got it on a million different places, but I'm going to draw it again. Aye, so it's either that, it's either one of these three levels, likely in around here, 172, 17, 169, if that is that harmonic, or 2 or 3 other potential ones, or there's loads of other shit on the go. And these Fibonacci extensions on this one here seems to have been working good. This one here seems to be working good so far. The retraces and failures and whatnot suggest it's going there possibly. That was done all about any oscillators. That says bad news. That says bad news. This says bad news too. Yep. So perhaps you're right. Continuation there. Of course, if it breaks above certain levels, horizontal and top side could go back up again. Is very much about Bitcoin. So there's that. Wait, what was it? Also, we're going to look at. Corman asked a question about Evergrande. Systematic. Is it a systematic risk? Where is it? Trim. So I catch up with it. So often thanks ship armored on Kenny's G-string. That's hot. That's hot. KT, the sound is like you're in the room with me, whispering sweet nothings in my car, but instead taking a good TA and not so much of a whisper. Yay. And then joining chat, but watching the beginning of the stream. Wow, Tradespotting audio is amazing. Yes, thanks so much, John. Jen. John. Yo, John. It is John. It's John now. Your name now, Jen, is John Campbell. Thank you very much, Jen. I've sacrificed your first name there for my blindness. And thanks, yeah, really good help from a guy called Typewriter, Typewriter on Instagram. Just check him out. He's fucking awesome at what he does, by the way. It's the fact that he helped me. It's a real gift. It's very nice of him. Thank you so much. And I do have amazing audio. It's now as good as it's ever likely to get until at such times as I dead in the room with like carpets and rugs. I don't know if it can get much better. And then when I was checking out, he said very graciously said, I'd like to help Rocky out too. That's that kind of guy. He puts his work to helping other people that he believes in like that, and his wood is very good. So I'm very lucky. I'm very grateful. Thank you so much, and that you appreciate it. Great, awesome. Thanks. Yep, everything says bad news. Yeah, it does, Chris. Tradespotting. Yo, can we talk about GameStop? Yes. And Catalyst? Yes. Like Evergrande? Yes. And strategic shit? Yes. Like Computershare? Okay. And other things like Citadel moving out of the Chicago Huggers? Boom. Yes. Why? Can we? Yeah. Well, why are they doing it? Okay, cool. Yes, we can. Let me talk about that in 2 seconds. What was the other question that I said I'd get around to and didn't look at? Your boy had asked for something, and then I said, yeah, and then if not HGC, then I'm really, really curious about Atom Cosmos. Well, let's do. Well, which one do you want then? Have I got any on the chart already? Let me just check if I've got them on the chart already. H. And I got HTC. So. Ada Cardano smart contracts just came out, probably being dumped or people selling in the news. They came out a while ago, clear and sweet, and yeah, some people going off them. But like, this whole idea that people are going to jump onto smart contracts on ADA, it's like that's not the way cryptocurrencies work. You know, like I have got a application that runs on a blockchain. The antithesis for you is to use smart contracts because each interaction and transaction will come with a network cost, which makes your blockchain then really expensive or your application really expensive when the technology is applied in this way. So really what you want is a parachain or a blockchain that doesn't execute every time your application executes, which is what a smart contract is. Or at least if you're using an application, it relies on as few as smart contracts as possible. And when it comes to doing that, yeah, sure. Now ADA has smart contract capabilities, and they're up there with some of the best of them. But they're not the best of them. They're like significantly not as good as the best. So while there has been a constant drain from the applications currently using Ethereum, it's dropping and dropping and dropping and dropping all the time. But by no means have they been flooding in ADA. Like, it hasn't happened the way you would have wanted it to if you were huge on ADA and the smart contract thing. Though, that being said, there was a huge rise up until such time as the smart contract news came out. And so you're exactly right on the event psychology thing. It's just it was a week ago or something. So still doing it right. I'm going to do Atom, so because I can't find anything else. Is that what you want? Yeah, I think this is it. Atom. Look at me using the right mouse with my right hand. Oh, no, that's not what I wanted. That's hit. Why is that open in history? Not giving me a back button. Ugh, that's awful. Okay. Did that work? No. What's wrong with me? ATOM. Add. What did I do before? That's the wrong color. Wow, fuck. Should point out that there's plenty of very smart people on Superstonk, and it is the place where you go for the informazione, and is where my greatest supporters come from, and where I get most of my knowledge that I don't already know. So I think that's pretty obvious at this stage that that's what it's. Anyway, do I think about this? No. But if it was, it's broken. Looking across at this. Sorry, I should be talking more and stuff so that people don't tune out. But it's the first time I've looked at this properly. See, it's like rolling over loads of different ways. It's not got a lot of the strength you'd like to see in these things. It doesn't have the strength you typically would see when it's doing certain things. Like, you know, this was constantly putting in higher highs, constantly putting in lower highs on significant time frames. Like horrible, horrible, horrible divergence. And so when it does collapse, like 200 periods moving average on a 4-hour trend check, yeah, 50 periods straight through that, obviously through the formation. Horizontals, like, yeah, sure, those three were all relevant, but it's not reached any of them. And this 200 on its own after that signature is like crap. Sure, it could recover above the bearish control zone. That could do, eh? Could do. But the question now is, like, has it got any strength on the top side and get above the center line? Because it's not even breaking in back into this formation significantly unless it breaks the center line. It just doesn't look like it's going to, you know, it's broken its trend underneath here. That likely proves to be resistance should it come anywhere near it again. If the RSI turns up again, it likely gets caught below that, which is the self below the neutral line, and sends it into the oversold zone, and that's the bearish control zone where the bears are in control, and it probably gets pushed down to at least 1898, 1898, and then $18 and change. At which point you'd be looking for bullish divergence. You wouldn't have any. You know, you could even get bearishness on the bottom side of this. That'd be so awful. This looks dodgy, really dodgy. Crappy highs, didn't break its previous support and resistance. All these other ones were divergent. Across all the time frames, it looks bad. Just hourly, 4-hour, daily, it looks dodgy. In a 1 hour, it's had a bit of a recovery. It's even bullish engulfing. Candle. No, it isn't. It's closed below its previous open. There's a gap up there at 21.75. That's not a significant distance to trade. Doesn't mean you can short it because 200 got another gap there to below it from $23 up to 24.35. That's a bigger percentage than anything you'd be able to trade on the way there too. So there's that gap. Where to enter? Somewhere around here, more likely, if you ask me. I think this is going to break down. I think the RSI says that again on that time frame. Try below your own moving average. There's volumes picked up. There's a starting volume to say get fucked. Here's a volume to say nope, that's not stopping volume. It's lower than this one. It's just people entering shorts or selling it or covering it here because you think it's going to drop. It's weak. I mean, it was mostly Fibonacci levels. So first off, for horizontals, I moved them at the relevant Fibonacci's because that's likely where the price would take it should it get in those areas. And now, looking back, you can see it's relevant for loads of different reasons and loads of different time frames. Prices likely go between them, fail here when they get back here again, they'll go down here. And they'll try and bounce up again, they'll fail, they'll go to the next one, get stuck behind that, and then maybe they go just straight to that one. I think it's going to go down a wee bit. Pleasantly. Does seem that way. Not particularly strong. Miscellaneous commercial services. How can that not work? What a brilliant deal they've got on the go. Surely they've got a better way of describing their company than that, right? What have I missed? Chris, 3-hour bearish Gartley. Surely that's ages ago. Joining chat but watching the beginning. Oh, that is. It's Jen was being nice about audio. Thanks so much. Workout crop. Boom. Tradespotting. There's a crypto link in there. Boom. Yay, there is. There should be a link to the crypto in the donation there. Shouldn't there? Is there not in the description of the video? There should be a description in the video link. So thanks very much for asking. So busy we went over this on day one. What did we go over on day one? Happily to it again. Where was it? Adele, it's you. You're here. Boom. He loves apes. I love you too. Sorry about that unusual thing that temporary disappearingness before. Great to see you. Great to see you, mate. Welcome back. Right, what the fuck? I don't know if I've got the alerts thing turned on. No, they are on there, but they are also elsewhere. This thing asked me to sign in the other day when I turned it on. It's like, who do you think I am? And it was like, I don't know. That's why I'm asking you to sign in. Where is it? You're gonna ask me to sign in again? I bet you are, because you're such an idiot. Yeah. Aye, and you've not got my details saved. Well, that's great, isn't it? I'll have to figure them out. It's so annoying. Can you get your address for the group do you want to send and pass it on to Jamie? No problem. After that, more or less. Can't think of a crypto off the top of my head I couldn't get an ad for. There isn't any. You can do Rockies. I can do anything. What do you want me? Do you want me to look at anything in particular? Dirty Jizz? I can do if you like. There should be a 1UP coin donation like in the address, which is in the description below. But if you don't find it, no problem. And yes. If you want me to look at anything, just let me know. What was Stefan want to talk about then? I want to talk about a number of things. Computershare. Computershare. Do you need your okay, Computershare? Can it cause them loss? In and of its own, maybe, probably not. But in comparison to any of the other things that have been suggested that would cause it, yeah, it's more likely than any other singular thing to be the one reason. Though I don't think there ever will be the one reason. And that if there is one reason, the way you cryptic atom. Oh, I'm looking at the wrong atom. That's why. Your boy wanted to look at the right atom, and I did it all on the wrong one. So down 21.7.5% today. It's not bearish engulfing, but it's pretty bloody close. So all intensive purposes. Managed to hold above important areas though. So I'll do this that one in a second. Yes, so Stephen says Computershare. Yeah, Computershare. I don't think it's going to be the one and only reason for it, but I think it helps, right? Direct registration, that takes it out of the purview of the DTCC. We've talked about this a little bit. It's a good thing. I don't necessarily think you should do it with all your shares because you want to have flexibility to do other things. And some people have moved their shit around so many times now they're just not interested. So I understand that argument too, but you don't necessarily have to move your shares to Computershare to register them. You can do it with various other brokers. Will allow you to direct register your shares via Computershares, but stay with that broker. A number of them do. Look into it. And what do I think Computershare? Ryan Cohen and people, do they not hold their shares in Computershare? In which case that takes me, like, people go out there and like, it's FUD, and you're like, no, it's not FUD. It might not be the be all and the end all, but it's definitely not FUD, right? Or at least if it is, somebody should probably tell Ryan Cohen. And then, which kind of is a joke, right? Because it isn't FUD. And then, so I think, yeah, no, cool, yeah, no problem, right? Also, anyone can do it. You just, depending on your broker, most people will be able to do it. You just have to tell them you want to register them via Computershare. So that's something to think about. What else about Computershare? Yeah, they have some preferential, like some sort of partnership deal with GameStop, where like that's where they would issue their shares if they get them themselves, right? Is that not correct? So they use Swab and Computershare, and then they have their proxy solicitors, and there's something there. There's some business relationship. I thought about DRS, but instead I kept my current buyers are waiting for a bigger dip. Bigger dip. Nice. Patient. Unless he's really run out of money and the Wendy's dumpster is charging less. Malamayo! So there's Computershare, right? I think it's a good idea. I don't understand why people think it's FUD. I think it's a good enough idea. I understand people who've moved their shit around, can't be bothered. That's fine. I don't think you have to move it. You can direct register with your own broker via Computershare, depending on who you're with. And I like the idea of the infinity pool is speaking to the chat with the audio earlier. Last guy was pointing out that if, say, people say like, oh, I'm going to check this much into the infinity pool, and that's cool, right? Maybe they are, maybe they aren't, but unless they do something with their shares in advance of that statement, the actioning on it is going to be unlikely, because there'll be intense amounts of greed and difficulty. Unless you're like, I think of myself, and I've held through all sorts of different things with assets over the years, and in this sense know what it's going to be like, have strapped yourself to the mast before and heard the sirens and are doing it anyway, then it's going to be really difficult. I can't expect most people that I've seen this before, and most people won't hold. So the question is, do those people not want to? No, they do. They want to, but they'll be compromised by their own sense of greed when time comes, and so they might not. Those shares not make it to the infinity pool. Why do I call that greed when it's your money and it's your shares and you can do whatever the fuck you want with your trades? And I'm the last person on earth going to tell you what to do. Why do I think that? Do I characterize that as greed? Well, because with Computershare, and it does work effectively like an infinity pool. So I'll put, say, 10, 15, 20% of my shares into Computershare. Those 10, 15, or 20% that people do, whatever that works out on average of all market participants, all of us apes, say we've got 2% in Computershare. That's going to put the top price that GME gets to way above just an extra 2%. You know, there's an exponential benefit to the more and more of these shares that are locked in down for a considerable period of time, because it'll push the price up by way more than that 2, 3, 4, 5%. Yo, treat yourself and your family. You've already won. Replace my friend. Rejoice, my friend. Raymond, that's a massive donation, Raymond. Thanks, Raymond Chamas. That huge smile on you too, you freaking lovable guy. Thank you so much. That's very generous. You're a legend, man. You've already won. That's a nice message in so many ways. Thank you. To yourself and your family, you've already won. Rejoice, my friend. So many nice things in such few words. Raymond, you're a freaking legend. Thanks. I have 25% of my position in Computershare. Let's go. Boom. Right, there you go. Exactly. Oh, there's Luke Spears. Right, so somebody like Luke Spears, who's like, I'd imagine, go just do what he says sort of person. 25% of shares, you don't even need to. I still believe you'd hold on to them if you said it would, Luke. But there's other people who won't, and I can put them in there, and it means that shitload. And he's got a lot more shares than you do, probably. The effect on the overall price is going to be shitloads more than whatever you might happen to put in there. So when I say greed, what I mean is you could make more money selling everything you've got left if you put chunk of it away forever. You know, that'll happen. The same way we're like all going to do so well because other people are out there buying it. They're reducing the available float that eventually will become very relevant. Reduce it, and it's already, you know, very difficult for anyone else. So we've already got this multiple times over on the float. So the more, less and less and less of that'll ever be available will increase the velocity. You know, the velocity of the volatility will increase because the volume is restricted. Once again, we restrict the volume. And this is us now fucking with the guys that are always fucking with us. We fuck with them in exactly the same way. So that, you know, Never will anyone ever again after Moas say to me, Jamie, but how did the price move so much when on so little volume? Because everyone will be like, we used that mechanism to fuck the bastards, which is what the Computershare thing is. So it's generally speaking, direct registration of your shares or completely removing them from like another way of doing it is like you can put those so it takes it out of the DTCC so that those are not able to be shorted, and that means that there's like the idea of when the MOAS happens, it brings the timeline forward a lot. But on top of that, the fact that those shares are then not going to be available for the other people to deal with, right? Because locking those shares away, not only does that restrict them by reducing the overall float, right? But the people on the other side of the trade have got an awful lot of different things that they do in order to delay, stall, and in their mind, in some way, hopefully find breathing room and an escape route. Is not that they, because there aren't enough shares already, not that they take them and they're like, sweet, excellent, thank God I got one, I can use that to close one of my inordinately large short positions. It's not that. That's not what they're doing with it. It's that they can use that share 8, 9, 10, 15 times via the market makers that they control, via the different instruments that they use. And they can just balance it against fake shares on this side, real shares on this side, fake shares again here, and they can use it in 8 or 9 different places and exploit T plus 2, which is actually T plus 35 to 38, and take the full extent of that time using that share 20, 50 fucking times. So the more off the market, the better, and for so many ways. And I don't think Computershare is FUD, right? I don't think it's FUD at all. I think that people saying that don't understand what we've talked about so far about Computershare. There aren't anything else. That's it, right? Now, what else they can or do or don't do with the share is slightly less relevant, right? Because they're not the DTCC, who are the people we're fucking, right? So that's that. Then, what was the other part was Stefan was talking about? Thank you so much, Raymond. Where was it, yo? I'll get back to Atmos in a second. Cosmos Atom, sorry. You'd already been buying your shirt, should be arriving today. Why is it not there yet, Corey? Damn, it should be there already. That's great that it is arriving today. Oh, you're a different timeline from me. That's why it's not yet. Jen, someone who is also devoid of humanity. This is me. I am. Don't know what that is. That may be the wrong atom I was looking at earlier. Maybe 30 Jazz, was I looking at the wrong one earlier when you said Atom USD crypto? It's almost 34. Yes, this is at 34.76. You're right. And what was this other thing Stefan said there? Tradespotting is so... Stefan S. No pressure, but Tradespotting is so sensitive and really cares about us moving rates. I don't want him to go ballistic. Where's Stefan at? There he is. It's totally okay. I'm his undercover brother from another mother. Yeah, that's true. Fucking legend. Both of you guys. Where is it? Tradespotting. Yeah, can we talk about GameStop? Yep, with like GameStop here. Catalysts like Evergrande. Oh, Evergrande. Gee, Evergrande. Largest issuer of corporate US bonds outside of America. Massive fuck up, right? Massive fuck up. Chinese could see it coming for ages and have done shit all to fix it properly. It's like they've got some problem. Like they're why don't they fix it? They, like the Chinese can build a hospital in about 17 minutes. But when it comes to making straight up obvious decisions about bailing out their own companies to help their own population, they'll like stall because they're like, nah, I'd like this to hurt America a little bit longer. That's what's happening. That's what's happening, right? That's what's happening. It's fucking bollocks. It's obvious, and somebody should fucking do something about it. And I bet you they do. I bet you they do something about it, and that'll teach them a fucking lesson when it happens. And good on you, right? So what do I think about Evergrande? Massive fuck up. So obvious. Total incompetence, right? The people responsible for it shouldn't be allowed near capitalism ever again. They're a complete and utter joke. We've seen it before, and they're seeing it there. And those people, it's nobody's fault but their own, right? They're a bunch of total fannies, and that. Now, like, what do you expect when you produce? guarantee people a 20% return times 3 over the period of an investment. That's stupid, right? That's stupid. This is an investment that you don't manage. It's a guaranteed return. Where are you putting the risk on that? Stupid, totally stupid. You know, like you need to be told that that's stupid when it's so fucking stupid. Sound is awesome. Audio does sound wonderful. Thank you so much, Rocky. So, what do I think about it? I'm a little bit annoyed about the standing stupidity of Evergrande, and whatever. I've heard people call it both ways that work for the stupid company. So whatever. So there's that. What do I think about it? Yeah, there's just such a fucking like. Yeah, so that's that. What else do I think about it in terms of potential catalysts? Well, Superstonk love the idea of the economy falling over, and that'll be good for GME because it will, because it's negative beta, represent a good place to put all your money into. And true, right? So cool, right? That it can potentially be a catalyst. The world falling apart because of Evergrande. When I say the world, I mean like US bonds. The knock-on effect there. Well, the knock-on effect would be that Evergrande, right? They've been bailed out to the tune of 14 billion this morning, right? That 14 billion is going exclusively to Chinese bondholders, right? So if you're a domestic investor in Evergrande, no problem. We'll give you your money. No, like an amount of it. We'll give you an amount of your money. If you're an institution or an American or Spanish or German or British and not Chinese and not in China and investing in it from here, then you're fucked. And they don't give a flying fuck about you. And that's a direct message. That's a direct message to you and the culture and country where you're from. They don't give a fuck about that either, and they want to harm it, and they'll do it even at a cost to themselves. That's what that is. No mistakes about it. They're not trying to tell you it's anything else. They're delivering the message as clearly as they can without phoning you up and saying, Stefan, this is a CCP. Go fuck yourself, Stefan, and everything about your culture. That's what they're doing. And they're doing it at their own cost. And you'd be like, well, but how do they sort it out? You know, can they really sort it? Yeah, they can sort it out. What the fuck are they playing at? 14 billion for domestic only. I mean, you know, this is supposed to be a socialist country. And then they're using economic weapons against other countries. How far up your own arse is your fucking head? I'm so pissed off with idiots that run the world. They're not necessarily out to hate on you and make your life difficult. Some of them, right, the vast majority of them aren't. They're just so incompetent and they're going through the world being an absolute twat all the time because nobody's ever going to explain anything to them in a way that they'll actually be able to get it. And so they just go around doing what their stupid little fucking boss tells them to, even though it doesn't help, right? And it makes everything worse for everybody. And I fucking hate Evergrande. I think they're absolute tubes. I think the people who invested in it are complete tools. You look at them, like the foreign minister guy's wife and that. I mean, it's a fucking joke. It's a joke, man. It's a joke. And like, I'm from Scotland, and I'll say Scotland is stupid because we'll let somebody die rather than get an ambulance to them within 40 hours. And that there isn't a system or a protocol that could trigger some huge warning along that process to stop that problem. And I think that makes my own country stupid, and I'm ashamed of them for that. That's nothing compared to the outright incompetence, thick-headed fucking arseholeness of the Chinese, where they've handled Evergrande. It's a joke. It's a fucking joke. The whole world, like, interconnected in that, and they think they can go around behaving so stupid and irresponsibly. Totally fucking ridiculous. So fuck off Evergrande that, and the way the Chinese have handled it. Can't stand it. And it's a property company, It's a property company. So not only are they fucking you now, who got all of the benefit? Where is it? Where is all the benefit that came from this? It came from it, and it came in a direct increase in the Chinese people's quality of life. and it came at a direct cost to the US dollar later on down the line. That's where it comes from. And this isn't a new tactic. The Chinese have been doing it for over four American administrations. The Chinese have been using constant, relentless attrition to try and bring down the price of your currency so that they can improve their own standing in the world, because they're fucking unable to go through the normal economic growth that everyone else goes through, because they're so desperate for power, because they're so absurdly they know that they fucking know that if they let the world do what it wanted, nobody would want no fucking communist bollocks. Get the fuck out of China, you stupid CCP arseholes. You ruin that country's, man, you ruin the population. You destroy them for generation after generation after generation, and you're incompetent. You've no idea how to run a business. All you do is steal, and steal, and you always undervalue everyone. Look at all of the countries around the side here. Look at the damage you're doing to people. Look at how you control areas around you, geopolitics. Look at the natural resources. You're absolute disgrace. China, you're a fucking disgrace. And you're worse than the Nazis with what you're doing in those concentration camps, China. You're worse than the fucking Nazis. And we, the world, said we'd never let it happen again. And now it's happening to millions of people in the most populous country in the world. The worst thing you could ever imagine happening in the history of humanity is on repeat. It's stuck on repeat in China. And what are we doing about it? Fuck all, because we want to sell Louis Vuitton bags there. Fuck all, because we think we can get a Tesla plant to make us some cheaper batteries. Fuck all, because we're the fucking fools. Fuck all, because we're the idiots that'll spend trillions in Afghanistan, and fuck all sorting them out, because we're the fucking idiots. Again, we're made to look stupid because of some greedy bastard. He'll not live any longer than you. He doesn't deserve any more than you. But he'll make millions of people go through tragic lives from the beginning till the end of their entire singular one existence they'll ever have, so that that bastard can have some more whale to eat, some more fucking whale to eat, or some more fucking octopus, or some more other, like, that's not so bad, but some other obscure food that should not be a food that'll cause some other fucked up disease. And then they'll put out some bollocks narrative like, you know, that it started in America. That it started in America. That sort of shit. It's the shit you read about coming out of North Korea, right? And you're like, why are they saying that? How can anyone believe that? Because they've been doing this shit for fucking years. You can't even use the internet properly in China. You can't even use the internet properly in China. That's fucked up. If you were caught watching me in China, you'd be going to one of those fucking camps. Hey, just watching Tradespotting will get you sent to one of those fucking camps. Fuck you, China. You're a disgrace. You're a fucking disgrace. And you know, if it does trigger the fucking MOAS, it'll be the worst thing that could have happened is some bastard, some tragedy causes it like that. Some fucking bastard like that. Evergrande should never escape. It should be never escape, and we should be always remember, if we ever let the Chinese do it again, what are they going to do? They're going to turn into worse than the Nazis. They're going to try and attack the American value of their actual currency and every culture that relies on it. They're going to try and destroy and undermine world trade. They're going to try and undermine sanctions regime, which is targeted at the worst of humanity, and they're going to try and undermine it in order so that Kim Jong-un and his fucking cronies can build massive missiles so they can aim them at you to control more countries around them. They're going to come up with this digital renminbi. They're going to make a digital version of their currency, right? So that they can trade with North Korea, and they can open up other countries who should not be allowed to treat their populations the way they do. We are strangling these fucking bastards so that they cannot inflict their pain on the world anymore. China is going to open it up to them and give them money. They're going to say, here, look, we we've got this huge new, it's Silk Road 2.0, by the way. Oh, you got to see it. It's beautiful. Silk Road. And for that, we'll give you a port. We'll give you some roads to your fucking port. Look, we'll even put the cranes in to take the shite off your boots. You just have to promise that we have complete control over it and that we have tax-free zones in all these ports. And we'll pay for everything. But you have to remember that that money that we will lend you to do your own part of the infrastructure, we're not going to let you borrow that in the normal way of our currency and it'll be backed by the whole world system of the IMF, the World Bank, SDRs, the counter-inflationary mechanisms that are in place to protect the world, the value exchange between currencies. That's not going to happen. That's not going to happen. What they're going to do is they'll say, we'll lend you it in this fucking digital currency, and at the same time, we'll do everything we can to damage every other cryptocurrency that any American might own, no matter what it does to our own populations, as long as it hurts the Americans. This is what they're fucking doing. And then at the same time, we'll have our own fucking digital currency, which will exploit the Americans again by giving it, and it's not just Americans, because the rest of the fucking world relies on America because of the General Agreement of Tariff and Trade, because of the way the UN was set up, because of the fucking Bretton Woods Agreement. The entire world, the entire right-thinking world depends on the current systems. They're fucking it all so that they can give Kim Jong-un a bigger fucking rabbit sandwich, so that some fuckwit in the north of China, the south of China, that stole another country like Tibet, a really proud ancient country that's been stolen and nobody did anything for them. Nobody. A peaceful country who believed in fucking... We need to stick together. What was the rest of the question? Spanish John, did you get liquidated? No, Spanish John, I haven't been liquidated in many years. Love you, bye, Mama Gemma. What was the rest of the question? Citadel moving. Did they not have some deal though? They were moving to New York from Boston anyway, weren't they? You know, Citadel aren't stupid, eh? Like, they'll see a drone outside their window and they'll think, well, there's two things we could do right now. We could have that drone confiscated, find out who's flying it and ruin their life, which they could have done. Or they could just pack up their offices and make it look really dramatic, which I'm sure they wouldn't bother doing because these things are, they tell you these things are below them, but really, they just can't organise their staff good enough to put up that kind of a show. The truth is, it's much more likely that they're just moving. You know, they're just moving. Though companies like Citadel are like companies like any large investment bank, right? For example, State Street, right? State Street, an international bank, third largest holder of GME, huge bank, huge bank, largest custodian bank in the world, one of the largest investment banks in the world, most assets under custodianship in the world. They've got offices all around the world, of course, but they're a Boston bank. They're from Boston. And that's where their headquarters is, on State Street in Boston. And they are State Street Bank. And there isn't a chance in a million years that State Street would close their Boston headquarters. It wouldn't happen, right? Because it would be a sign of weakness. They could just buy more offices and just fucking call it a statue if they wanted, right? There's no way they would get rid of their HQ. And that's the way banks work, right? They don't get rid of their HQ unless, and of course, they're buying or building the most impressive office in that next area they're going to. So you will see banks move out of their main headquarters, or Apple, or McLaren, or Ferrari, or Aramco, move out of their main offices. And each of those occasions, look where they've moved to, a building either in the same place, right, and they've built a new one, or in a new place, and it's the most expensive building in that city when they've gone there, right? And that's what would happen. And recently, State Street decided they were going to close offices, 2 offices on Wall Street, right? And that's more likely that a bank would do that, close an office on Wall Street, because COVID, not many people are working, not many people going in, and the rates aren't a little bit more, it's the point, right? It just makes sense to close it, especially with the way working practices are nowadays. And the people that work at these offices, at the actual top headquarters, they might spend 5, 6, 10 days a month there, and the rest of the time is all over the world, right? Literally all over the world. You're flying all over the world. If you're working at the HQ, most of them are out, like, unless it's like the lowest level. You're at there because you're going everywhere, doing all sorts of stuff. And so you wouldn't be closing. You don't need to do that with your headquarters, right? Those people want to work at the headquarters, right? The whole point of them going to that bank, if they didn't join it at the lower levels, would have been for that area and that headquarters. It's a big chunk of it. And it's the same with Citadel in Chicago. It's in Chicago, right? And that's why they'll have taken those jobs. That's why the people at the top there aren't. And that's, Kenny G will tell you he's a true Chicago boy, and he is. So them to be closing that office and that, I think there is more to it than simply they're just moving or they're just like going to this other building or that. I think there is more to it than that. And like, it's not like genius, and it's not because I worked at an investment bank. It's just like, I know that, and I know that about State Street, about their, and you put it together and you think, well, does it make any sense? Does it make sense? It doesn't, eh? It'd be like Boris Johnson in Britain saying, or a better example would be like Biden being like, guys, it's no big deal. We just don't need all this space in the White House. We just don't need it. So we're going to set up this other the other president's new house in well, I don't know, wherever the fuck, right? It might even be somewhere slightly more jazzy than Washington, but it's not where it just was. And why are you doing it? Like, we've got the internet now, and that there's absolutely no need. You get on a plane, your other headquarters in London or Johannesburg or Tokyo, and that. Does it really matter if you're actually in Chicago or you're in like whatever greater area of South America? Does it fucking matter if you're in Texas? Like, does it matter if you're in New York? It doesn't really. Like, perhaps a tiny little bit would help in New York, but not really, because that's been recently disproven by lots of big banks closing their Wall Street offices. So I don't know. Like, I think that they moved and that they're moving probably does mean something more than just they just fancy a different office. I think it probably does. And what was the rest of Stefan's question? Are they running out of cash? Unlikely. Well, maybe, yeah. But no, I don't say unlikely. What I mean is you can't really derive that from the fact that they're moving, because most commonly you'd be upgrading. That's why anyone would move as an upgrade. It just so happens to be that way, rather than a downgrade. That's not the most common reason for people to move. But of course, when they bought their offices or took out the money that likely it was a loan, they could just renegotiate that debt, and presumably it's like much cheaper now than it was when they first moved in and whatnot. So if anything, they'll make money from it. Don't think that they would be like closing their offices to pay out to cover. I mean, like, as expensive and cool as their building and all that is, like, how much would it really cover of their position? Like it also, it would be killing the goose for its eggs. Like, you kill the golden goose for its eggs if you go around like selling off everything that can possibly make you money or is now cheaper to you than it would otherwise be if you were to buy it brand new today, in order to close out some position which you don't know where the bottom is. Like, they can't work out where if they're short on something, if anyone's short on GME or AMC at the minute and it squeezes, they don't know how high it's going to go, so they can't work out what collateral they'd need to cover, and so they just end up selling their headquarters and then chucking that in a pot and it making absolutely no difference, and they get liquidated anyway, right? So what's the benefit? Or is it that their property sales and the divestment of that money gets put somewhere and is rewarded to take to the executive board, so these people are going to get cash in their bank no matter what happens? And it would be that if the company went bankrupt and these property deals weren't done, that they wouldn't get those payouts, so it's something for executives somewhere down the line. Is that it? Maybe, but it's not likely. And it's more likely that when these sort of institutions who, if let's say that they're highly leveraged and that those are leveraged and there's somebody but they're beholden to, it might be that that company suggests, like JP Morgan are so often good at doing, right? JP Morgan are so good at being bastards like this, right? That they'll say like, you owe us loads of money and we really don't like the way you're running your business. In fact, we want you to run it this other way. And in fact, if you don't run it that other way, we're going to have to turn the tap off on this liquidity provision we've got for you here, which they get you into knowing that you'll become reliant on it. And then they start manipulating your business. And JP Morgan have a history of doing that for hundreds of years, and they keep doing it, and they're constantly doing it. And they're trying to open client accounts in the UK. And if anybody has ever watched any of my videos think that they're going to open a client account with JP Morgan, you're letting somebody stick their hand in your pocket if you do that. Don't ever let them anywhere near Britain in that sense. They shouldn't be anywhere near commercial banking in the UK. Like, get them to fuck, get them to fuck. They're a massive problem. They shouldn't be here. And I mean that. We would like JP Morgan to fuck off. That's what I think I speak for a lot of people in Britain when I say we'd like JP Morgan to fuck off. And we don't appreciate you trying to involve yourselves in our culture and try to control businesses the way you do. In fact, it's going to break people like me, turn thousands of people against you, so fuck off, right? So that's what I think about those sort of things. And what else was it? I think that's probably everything. Are they running out of cash? Probably not, but they can't work out how much cash they need, so they need everything they can get. They also don't know what to do, because you can't just go long on GME and AMC. They'd have to go, how are they going to hedge? Go short on everything else in the world as well. It's like, well, they need a lot of cash. And negative beta, that'd be the only way it would work. Like, the last thing they want though is GME start showing even more negative beta. Like, that would be more important to them than exact price levels. So, as things are going one direction, they definitely take the foot off the gas. And as such, it means there's so many different dynamic things going on in the market at any time that anyone who thinks that there's some algorithm that can control prices, it seems like they're just exposing their own naivety by saying those things. Thanks for everybody being so nice and generous about things. Lovely truth. Thanks very much. That was Frozen Puck. Yo, Frozen Puck, how's it going down in Florida? Tradespotting, $100. There's a first sacrifice on the channel. Ban Hodl Legend. Hey, yo, Erika. How are you? And who is everybody else that's come from? Eep Andy, my brother from Taiwan. Well, he's ethnic Chinese and he lives in Taiwan and he's an incredibly nice man. Tradespotting, moving to upgrade on a lease. Okay, they're moving to upgrade on a lease is ultimate psyops. They move costs, fecal, look looks positive for the bigs, looks shit for the small. Yo, ultimate psyops. Well, they must be fucking well versed in it by now. Hey Jamie, can you please take a look at TDOC? Tradespotting. Yo sir, yo Dave, how you doing? Tradespotting. I'm guessing that this whole DRS thing is a game of chicken. Short hedge funds are going to have to close out their positions before 7.6.9 million shares are in DRS, otherwise it becomes a weird thing. Imagine that there was already 76.9 million in there direct registered and that, and it would definitely become a weird thing. It would definitely become a weird thing. Let's see if the government can get anywhere near closing out positions when it's got these type of investors holding this amount of money. Like, no problem, not possible. Jimmy, that round will be forever. Yeah, shit, damn it. Please make it a standalone so I can watch it when I need you. Shit, fuck, I don't know. does any shit? You know, I'm going to get Novichoked. That's what's going to happen. Or a bus is going to inexplicitly drive through my roof and land on my bed when I'm asleep, and everyone will be like, "Wonder how that happened." And I'll move on quickly after a week or two. Joe Maxwell, where are we going? We won't need credit. Credit. What have I missed? I've missed this thing in front of me. I was going to do the A on it, right? Right. Anyway, it's like, I'm not, like, this is the way the world's been for ages, eh? Like I say, they are. I mean, it's like, you can say any argument in the internet will quickly degenerate into two people calling each other Nazis, and I completely disdain that normal conversation. But they have concentration camps where they sterilize people so they can't have children based on their ethnicity, which is exactly what was happening in the concentration camps in the Second World War. It's a massive, massive crime against humanity, and we let it happen, you know. And back when the Spanish Civil War was happening in the early 20th century, artists, writers, poets were packing their bags and going to Spain to fight these bastards. But now, because of the way everyone's like, you know, this is our war, these are the wars we fight. Not this is the sort of shit that somehow doesn't cause a war. Yet we'll go to war over things like canals and that. Amazing, eh? Like, if it's your money that's at stake, how little somebody else seems to care. But when the government thinks like, hey, you know, maybe, you know, maybe this helps these 7 people who live in our country, then there's a war. It's like, well, no, what about it at the minute, eh? And that, why can't India do something better? Like, you see what happens? Like, the Chinese are now, that's like, they're saying like, no, that this area where this previous border zone was, it's moved because the glacier melted. It's like, no, go fuck yourself, China. That's not the way maps work, right? Just because a glacier melted, right? Oh, it doesn't even matter, right? If the rain turns to hailstones, and those hailstones turn into fire, and that fire starts singing to you as you go for a walk through those lovely mountains. No, none of that will change the way the map is, right? And that's not your land, nor is the far side of it yours. It's actually Tibet, and you stole that too. And now in that land, what they try to do, control those main rivers that go down so that the people of India to drink water are now beholden to the Chinese. That's what they're trying to do. And they're trying to do it in many other countries around in Southeast Asia. And now in those countries that don't quite make it, that don't have a land border, but do have some downward extension of that river, they'll be like, okay, well, we'll improve your infrastructure. We'll do these things in these corrupt countries where you can get away whatever by paying the right person. The Chinese will happily do it. And they'll twist and bend the culture of that country to be anti to its neighbors and try to set them all against each other because it's only interested in itself. Its geopolitics is disgusting. Nah, China, what's that all about? India, when are you going to stick up for yourself? Also, isn't it seem a little bit silly that India would be fighting them back up there with clubs and knives instead of like actually taking effective action, like using its own islands and its south of it in its own ocean to block that maritime and the submarines that are coming in and around the South China Sea into the Indian Ocean? Shouldn't it be that they put their geopolitical strength in that area, somewhere where it would actually make a difference, so that they can tell the Chinese, like, look, if you're going to do this shit up here, we're going to fuck you up. And then can't it be that everybody else just helps India so that we can put in there without causing a war? We can just show the Chinese that they're not allowed to do with it. Can we not all just get together and do that, eh? I mean, I'm not a big fan of Modi. I think that he could do better in the way he treats his own people. I think he could be nicer to every race that lives within his own country, and there could be greater equality there. But it's not for me to criticize, and they're a lot better than any other countries, namely their next door neighbor, China. What's that all about, you know? Can we not do something about this? It's not fucking complicated. I live in Edinburgh and I can see that there's ways to fix it. Like, why don't we get together with the right people at the right time and make a difference instead of fucking around all the time? Hey, why is that? That's not what I'm supposed to be doing. I'm never supposed to talk about these things on the internet. It should never happen. I should never do it. It doesn't do me any favors. Like, it really doesn't. And it may well one day get me Novichok. 55, 50, 200. Positive SPY, positive slope. All looks good there. You've got your RSI back through the center line, but the price itself didn't even manage to get down to the 55 or the 50. Well, 50 or the 55. 55 is above it. It could actually be a slightly more positive display if the 50 was above the 55, but it doesn't really matter. On the 4-hour time frame, they're all very close. Why have I got the 55 on and 50 in this? Like, anyway. Is it even the 50? It's a 100 EMA. I don't need that on. Right, so this came to that area as putting in support there. Why did we drop this on? Because of this look left, previous high. Okay, so it's likely to come back down, test that. It has done that. That would be the first start of a trend check. 50 period be the next, 200 period be the next. On the 4-hour, that's fine. On the hourly, near there, beyond the 200 on the hourly, okay. But you're catching back up to it. Prices went below the center line. Let's go back to the 4-hour. I feel it's more reliable. You went through the center line here. The prices didn't even get to a significant level on price action, looking left or looking down. You went through the center line, you get near, no, you didn't get anywhere fucking near the bearish control zone yet. I suppose you're more than halfway there, but you're not actually there because this thing's put in a number of turns once, twice, 3 times, 4 times, 5 times in this area. Much more frequently it's been turning around before actually hitting it. Only got into it twice. On those occasions it went to the 50 and then the 200, 50, 200. This one not even the 50, never mind the 200. You have a horizontal level here keeping you above it. Now you didn't have as good ones here, so that's good to see. This before got into the bullish control zone, knocked down once straight out of it. Okay, that's because the trend here has been going for so long. 236 at 29.26. That's a big chunk more down than 34 where it got to already. Can I see that happening? Yeah, that's not a big deal. That could totally happen. If it does not hold that 236, then the 200 period might be good for it. Let's see what the last time that happened. It got up to this high here. Went down. 236 came in at the same time as the 200 period moving average, so there was extra reason for that to bounce at that time when it did. Also, it was bullishly divergent, so it was definitely going to bounce, and then the extension on the trend, at least a 1414, I'd think. Yeah, 1618 and then beyond. So that could keep going as well. If it does, I'd expect to see it at the 21414. That'd be the next topside target. I'd be unweary of taking that much longer, because further than that, because like all-time highs and whatnot, but it's a parabolic move so far. It's tested 200 once. It's a 4-hour time frame. Put that to the weekly, and then it's just a very sustainable uptrend at the minute, and likely to continue. Looking at that, higher highs, lower lows, but you've got 1, 2, 3 touches of divergence within it. Why is that? Is this not the same as something I looked at recently? It feels the same. Did I already do this? 1, 2, 3. That's not as bad. What's the dates here? 3rd of May. That's okay, actually. That's probably okay. Trade. There was the divergence. The move came, took you to your 200. Coverage of moving average. Stayed above the neutral line. Entered the bullish control zone. Touched the top of it. Boom, not bearish, come back, 3-day time frame, probably won't even make it out of the bullish control zone without going on again, and that's the next level above at $53. Down to your daily time frame, skipping a 2-day, yes. Looking for a golden cross there. May well be that price action comes down $20 to test the cross. Will it? Fuck. Could do. People have taken trades off the table here. It might be when it came back down below. I mean, that held by the 1414 though. And your previous resistance turned support, which it had to with below it, but body close above, and then 1, 2 wicks on it. Not a very violent reaction, but this was a bullish engulfing candle after the second one. Fair enough, this is a bullish engulfing on the end of it, so what does that matter, Jamie? But if that had been a 3rd candle in a row there too, that would have been... Did you get any of them? 1, 2, 3, boom. That's it. 1, 2, Right, so looks like it could go on, but I don't know where the next high will be. 2414 at 52 bucks. Try to push it, really trying more than that. I suppose if you bought this now, you'd be glad of the drop at that candle going up there. See, that interaction with its own moving average and its support and resistance at this point was interesting, but when you look down and see on the RSI that hadn't even broken into the bullish control zone yet, and then when it did, it goes on some more, and that was the extension of that move that only took you around 23.24. So a test of 23.24 with this divergence in play is not all that crazy, but it's just when does this move finish? And then that is a very big drop back down afterwards. It then looked to like larger time frame moving averages, but then there might be a cross coming up and that would be tested. And even though it seems far away, it does still still will test it unless it's not going to work, in which case it doesn't matter, so it's irrelevant. But you've also got this idea of an inverted head and shoulders here. This test in its own horizontal, not close to the 200 or 100 on the daily, not close to it on the 4 hour really, 50, 200-ish, but not really. It's got your horizontal there. It never broke through before it'd have to get to it. It's below the 50 and the 200 on the hourly, but not below your support and resistance. So then that invalidates that drop down. Your RSI has gone into the bearish control zone, pushed up, failed, maybe comes back down, fine. But breaking through support here, 32, probably not, probably gets picked up again. Pulled itself out of that down to the 30 minutes. Yeah, it's doing it. It's pulling itself out of it right now. And then 15 minutes, it's out of it already. And now it's a question of does it break that most recent and last persistent overhead? And that'll happen around the neutral line. That'll be also if prices did make it up here. 50 crossing the 200, there's your cross on that level. Tested it there once, maybe it comes and tests it again. Haven't made it above 50 on the 5 minutes, and then 1 minute, sure, whatever, right? Doing it, but feeling a break horizontal resistance when it could have had a chance. And then this peak, this low here. Obviously, I can't draw them back that far, right? So this lower on price, higher on RSI, that's bullish divergence. It's made to the 200, that's the 1 minute time frame. This is where you're likely 36.27. Let's see it at 36.27, no bother. Yeah, we'll come up and test this cross. Come up, go to 38 and change, maybe 39. Afterwards, look at the strength of that move, see if the RSI is failing or crossing the center line, then you'll have a better idea what to do. Likely it does go up because on other time frames. That's 30 minutes recovering there is good. That 4 hour looks like, price action's holding specific levels when the RSI is slow as it is and it's done well. And then on the daily time frame, that's an inverted head and shoulders on RSI. It's going to break back into your it's the end of it. This is like not even a downtrend, right? But it's going down. And then if it does this and breaks back into the bullish control zone, it's going to stick in it for a while because it's done that before. Big, hefty, wide foam fits. They're going pump again. It'll take you up and it'll be new all-time highs. And that's what I'm saying. I think if it does that, it might get to 53. You have to pay attention to what happens on the neutral line on which one was it? On the hourly time frame, where is price action above horizontal resistance at that point? If not, I'd be weary of it, but I expect it will be, and I expect it will be continuation. Though there is a touch of divergence between even these highs on the hourly, so, but then you have hit the 200 and gone beyond it. But this is a bullish accumulation pattern. That would be the breakout of it. Yeah, Well, $40 then, that's where I aim for of this thing. $5 off the top of that. 39, 38 and change. $3 off the 38 thing. 35, what is that? 38%. So that's that. Have I missed anything? If not, I'm going to go and have a cup of tea and... Oh, I didn't do the Busy Ape series. Shit, I have to say it. I have to try that now. I have to get back trying that, see if this records. It probably won't record, in which case then we can all just say it's an update on DIA for the GME and the AMC. Let's see. Start recording. Hello, I'm Jamie. This is Tradespotting, where we do calm and relaxing TA. Could be considered meditation for some people. It's never noisy. It's never disturbing. It's always pleasant. And with this new audio, wow, it's buttery smooth. AMC. It dropped down and did exactly what I said it was going to do, because I'm a genius. I'm amazing. It went back to 40 in a recovery. That's lovely, but not significant. It's not above our levels that we said were important. We didn't break below. Should we do it? We're going to the target. So we then went to 41 and changed. So we're underneath that at the minute. And would I expect to see some of this get pumped down a little bit? Well, the overall formation you're still in at the minute is fine. Still higher highs, higher lows. Cool. It's still doing very well considering what it was doing before this formation, i.e. the downtrend you experienced here is much more psychologically difficult to deal with the ups and then the huge moves and then the light relief and the huge moves and just this quite sustained downtrend that's been rather obvious overall. RSI recovered above. We're on the 1 hour time frame. We should start and work our way through it so we've got some sort of history for people to understand, follow along. Start on we'll start on the top one, we'll start on the bottom one as soon as we're here and work our way up. 15 minutes. You got this gap on 15 minutes. Do I think that 15-minute gaps are relevant? No, not at all, right? Looking left, you've gone down to your previous support and resistance, and that is around high 38, 39 there. That was the previous ceiling on your formation before we made that move up for a while. So that would be an area I would likely test. Not all that crazy. 15 minutes gap, 50s below the 200. You'd expect that, having put in lower lows and this type of behavior. You're right, RE Money, Ape Hodl. Yo, thanks, Rocky, for talking to people. Sorry, I'm like in and out of chat, so I'm not really interacting properly there at the minute, and I'm aware of that. Sorry. Please don't think I'm ignoring you. I'm not ignoring you. Right, so this... What the fuck is that blue line, by the way? Sorry, this is a Busy Ape series. I shouldn't be swearing. Because, you know, busy people don't like swearing. Right. Pardon me. So your 50 period below your 200 on the 15 minutes. You're just below a significant area of support. I don't think that that's significant, really. Because you had to zoom down there to get that entry and then come back up positive, really, more than anything. Go up to the 30 minutes, see what there are. Look at that volume on AMC. Right, so your RSI, it came in, it put in a lower low, which was similar to price action. Tried to recover, got caught by the 50 and got knocked down. There's been a cross since there on the 30 minutes. I didn't necessarily expect a 30-minute cross to be tested in any obvious way, but the number of touches you had on this RSI and the fact that you're below it and then came back above it is significant. The fact that you're then out of the bearish control zone and have tried to make some sort of recovery is again positive, but it hasn't broken its previous high, nor has it made it up to the center line. One failure, 2, 3, yeah. This thing breaks down, tries the center line, breaks down again. It's only really had 1, 2, 3 spikes of increasing strength as the prices have moved up, and they have all been divergent. So there's like on 3 you would likely get a little bit of enthusiasm's been missing. These horizontals have been broken, same obviously as 15. Expect that to come down. This is what we envisaged for this, and it looks like it's playing out there with the lows being anywhere in the high 29, 28 sort of thing. And let's be honest, it's 27 It's not high 28, it's high 29, it's 27. And then there's a support level within there around $30. And then above that, you're looking at 41.40, and that's the range that's important until such time you put in something new. If you look left, you can see there's a mini little horizontal support and resistance there. I just moved the cursor before it dropped it, so it didn't go where it is. Whatever, it's there. 39, 38, 88. There's a little horizontal level where it has so far bounced and does likely prove to be interesting. Either it bounces again or it goes big far below it. Cheapers, they missed a lot. Sai was the dude with the stone. Cepheus. My friend also asked, why are you unable to convince more people to buy GME? Why are you unable? Because you don't, you don't have to. It's not your responsibility. Ape, you don't have to worry about it at all, my friend. Buy and hodl. You have a brilliant name and convince lots of people to do that. You're very good at it. In fact, very good at it. Watting the plank, of course. Who's walking the plank? Somebody is. So chats are all talking about different things, right? Shit, I've really fucked up the Busy Ape recording. Stop it, Jamie. That was just a shit video. I'm forgetting I'm out of my mode, right? Welcome to, is it recording? Aye, it is apparently, though it never does. Welcome to Jamie Tradespotting. This is the Busy Ape series for AMC and GME. AMC broken below horizontal resistance over the diagonal band line that was coming through is also broken. Prices have dropped below 41, so they went 38 exchange. They're likely going to go down again to $30 if they can't recover this horizontal. If that $30 doesn't hold, it'll wick to 27. Likely, though, they do try harder here. A 50 period above you on the 15-minute isn't going to be easy to break because it's also coming past that diagonal. But that's 15 minutes, so I hate talking about diagonals. Horizontal is at the same place at 41 change, 41.44. That's also, when you look left, relevant and period of congestion there, and we were at it before. So it may well be that prices do try and come up here, and this zone proves interesting between 45 and 36. That 44 and change level is important. 47 above it is also important. Difficult to get past there. Your oscillators say trend has been weak. It's not been like this down move, which is counter to the higher highs and higher lows, has been mostly due to a weakness in strength. That increasingly low, like the lows between these 2 points, it's hard to judge what that's like with regards to future implications, but you can see on the top side that it looks to me a little bit like a wedge, and maybe that means that this particular part of this move has played out to what you'd expect to see most of this down. That would be something like first touch inside, touch side. See, that breaks out here. Nope, that wouldn't. That would take you back down to 31. So this wedge does have a bigger measured move off it, though your horizontal support previously, first one broke, second one touch, third, fourth. It's not coming back down here. This would be too much for it to test that low again without going lower. So I'd say it only gets that much of that probably. Again at 32, and don't even really think it's getting there, but it's possible. So that's to be wary out. On the bottom side, this is a bearish formation, and like everyone's been saying on Superstonk about wedges and whatnot, here's one here, and it is real. Let's see how well you can draw it different ways. You can take it over different areas. Perhaps you just do it from here, and that may well be true because it's an inverted head and shoulders, and this is when this formation was on its own and most clean. And if that is the case, then you're talking about different kind of move altogether. Let's see, it happens. Well, if it had happened in a couple of days, you've already done it. If it happened there and you only get 60% of it, that's kind of where you're at already. So it may well be that this is the buy on AMC and it jumps up from here. It's just not as good a buy risk reward as down here. And so that's what I'd be waiting for to add to that if I was doing it. This not having convincingly come, the RSI not having convincingly come out of the bearish control zone the hourly, I don't like that. I think it should have done better. I also want to see how it does on the when it meets the center line here, and if prices get above the 50 and 200 period, and then if they get above looking left horizontal resistance 53 and whatnot, that's not happening anytime soon. The daily time frame drop below the center line, potential head and shoulders. You went into the bullish control zone, at which point you were divergent, And a trend check of the 200 wouldn't be out of the question, and that's all the way down to 21, though I don't think it'll get there. That may drive it as far as those other areas we were talking about. High, nope. There's nothing there to peg your space station to. There's a 50 period right 37. It may well come down and test that again. Looking left, the body close here, previous body high, and then this area does look very interesting there. Maybe that's close enough, and it is close enough, is near enough. It looks like a good test. That could have been your buy. If you're not, like, risk reward on this isn't about closing it in a stop, in which case, I imagine, in which case, this is not all that crazy an entry, and this is good too. You can just manage your position by having some powder dry and putting slightly more in if it goes there. Oh, you've got it below 41, 44, so you're getting it cheaper than a lot of people, and that percentage is significant on these sort of prices. And that 200 period moving average coming in there on daily, don't know if that's relevant, not yet. I'd looked at it later, maybe in the 3-day. More of this seems to be a bull flag. Perhaps it was pennant at the time, or perhaps it still is a pennant. So, if so, you would suggest maybe it broke out and is retesting it. Fine. Plays with the inverted head, the inverted head and shoulders here. That looks... You want to see this putting in closes above 62. Doesn't have to happen right yet, but if you don't go up and test the highs soon, you will come down and test the lows. On AMC, if you don't test the highs, you'll test the lows. And then, so we've gone all the way up to the daily and go up to the weekly and say, there's your actual head and shoulders now. This is an important level for the RSI not to break below 53.50. If it does, could be a terrible move down for AMC. It's not necessarily terrible for everyone because it only takes you as far as 200 period moving average, and a lot of people love that entry, and I'd buy shitloads of it. It's $13. But that looks like a measured move from an inverted head and shoulders on a logarithmic chart. There's also other things, like if this is a bearish wedge, that might be the low, and then that price that can continue on and go up again. It might well then be a bit of a harmonic in that case as well, which I suspect it is. So we'll see, depending on how low this gets, what the potential move on it is, and what the entries will look like at the time. But presumably you're buying AMC to hodl it, in which case you're all about the entries, and we got one, we're at another, and this is your next one. No, it isn't. That's a huge one down there. That's not the next one. Next one's 21, then 27 to 29, then 41, 44 above it. So that's that. And that's the AMCTA. It's a little bit dodgy, has been for a while. This may be a buy. If it isn't, another one's coming up soon. I wouldn't worry about the price action on AMC. I would have worried about it a couple of weeks ago, but if you're just tuning in for it nowadays, then you've missed all that stuff where I told you it was going down, which is great. You wouldn't have worried about it yourself because you would have known what was happening, because that's the way it is at Tradespotting. Okay. And then share it with your friends. Hit the like button, so on and so forth. Then we're going to do GME, and a quick GME summary. GME closed at 192 and 20 cents. It's the first time you've heard the price today. You might be surprised, but then the whole world went through the toilet briefly there this morning. So to come back at all is good, and it has been not a terrible comeback. If we look at it from a 15-minute time frame, stretch out a wee bit. The low of the day, 184.85. High of the day, 202. So $8 from the top, 84.92. $8 from the bottom. We're in the mid-range. Today's price action. High, lows, mid-range. You've got your 50 period crossing below your 200 and the 15 minute. You might come up and test that again. You've got a flash on this 15 minute DMI, I think. No, you haven't. I can't see actually. Have you? No, I think so. Right. So you've got these horizontal levels below you at 190, which is where we've put in a little bit of stoop so far, and couple of times it's proved to be support historically. RSI has put in quite a strong recovery from having been in the bearish control zone. To go up so high so soon was quite strong, though it's done that a number of times in this move. It's been higher than any of the others and has a higher low, so maybe something there interesting. And then these again, it's like AMC where you try to judge it from the bottom. It's like you're not getting real bottoms here. You don't know, so you can't do that. But you can see it from the top side of things. Like these are real supply lines where people are ditching this. Not us, some people. And that 225 was previously a level horizontally. Expect it to be level on this diagonal as well. 50 and 200 period moving averages crossing. As I say, that's going to get tested, so that'll bring price up a little bit. Likely 30 minutes, similar story. If that crosses, likely they'll get tested, bring price up a little bit more back, maybe closer to the 199-200 region. On the hourly time frame, I've only got 2 touches there. They're not significant. You could draw something through this and say, but that doesn't really work either one, and it doesn't really. It does give you an impression of most price action though has been following that sort of guide. This sort of channel up. Those things above it. Could we expect to see something below it? Perfectly possible. There is a channel on the way down. Drop below it. Drop inside it. Drop above it. Back down. Test it. Out of it. Looks like you've won that time. Then breaks below it again. So interesting. And then what timeline is that? It's 1 hour. Go back up to 4 hour. You can see positive signs in RSI. It's not made it into the bearish control zone. Did drop below the neutral line. Did that as you were breaking out of this horizontal support, which is disappointing for it. But it's a wick mostly. 50 period moving average holding it. You could aim for above the center line. Good work. Aim for above there and the bullish control zone even better. I'd like to see you try that, but I suspect that it needs something underneath it to prove to people it isn't going lower yet, so that people are more eager to put money into this thing. Maybe 180, maybe 170. Would it attract people at that level that haven't heard of it before? Would that get more people excited? Has it been there regularly enough, recently enough that the world knows about GameStop now and that isn't the thing? Might be, you know. Might be that we're not really looking chart-wise for more people to come in and buy this, but for it to consolidate and to put in strength at these levels because no one's selling. And that's what we would expect to see. 200 period there, 50 period there, 4 hour. You come below the 50 and you've touched the 200 on the 4 hour. That's interesting. And that's what always happens on a trend check. And you put in a touch of divergence between these two highs. That's likely to happen anyway. It took an extra bounce from the stock market to bring it there, but no problem. Here's your 50. Didn't hold, wick down, back close to it again. That 192.20 bucks, that 236 when you look left on the Fibonacci that you've moved there. You hold your 236. That's important. And if you can do that, you'll likely go back up to the 618 and so on. Those would be 212 bucks. And that would be the top of this potential channel. It looks like you're kind of really in as well. And that when people are most scared is when the time to buy, I suppose. And people are scared here because it looks like it's going to drop. And if it does drop, you know, this is so close. It's not that horizontal. It's these ones here. And they'd be worried. Oh my God, they're worried. And it's like not getting there. Like, how's it going to get that snowy? Right. And these are the targets from ages ago that it's got to once. And they'll likely aim for them again above you. Where is that? 240 and then 263. That's the 236 Fibonacci looking left. If these do go well, then you could expect them to see something like that. You've had to cross between the 50 and the 200 on the 4 hour. That's your test of both of them. That's positive. This is an entry for so many reasons, actually. You know, you probably asked earlier if you could get it cheaper in around 174. Maybe you do get it around there, but this is a buy already for various reasons. That 50 period, the touch of the 200, the fact that that's normal from a test on this cross, that's still likely to keep happening daily. It's up there. It's got a positive slope, positive splay still while that's happening. 4 hour. Yeah. Zoom out a wee bit. Holding that 50 period moving average on the 4 hours, like very significant. It's quite obvious that that's what's doing when it's on there too. 1 hour, but gap maybe it's a 15 minute mostly. There's a tiny bit there on the hour, so it will get filled too. That'll get filled at some point. It'll be back at 205 and that'll be filled. It might be a wick and you bring back down to test support after it. 200 period at 200 and 50 period at 202. Resistance above you at around 200 plus psychological level quite strong, so I'd expect to see it get knocked down, tiny touch there at that point. You put that through the time frames and you can see it goes up a wee bit, gets a little touch, comes back, people buy it again. That's likely what's going to happen with GameStop. 100, 200 touch back around where we are, could drop down lower, 188.9, 182, 179, 177. Below that, you're looking at 150, 130. Don't think that's going to happen anytime soon. I think this is the sort of thing that looks like a bounce. Although this formation isn't very... It doesn't include all of price action, you know. It does seem to speak to me about the linear progression of the thing. So that's what I think about that. And that's down in the 15 minutes. Did we go up the time frames? We must have. That's how we got here. Yes. 1, 2, 3, 4. Not as many touches on the top side, but, you know, like we were talking about potential wedge and whatnot. Done some of the move. Yeah, cool. Hourly. Yep, back here, same story. Hold the center line of this, which is previous resistance, now support, positive. You're going to blow it on a wick back above it on the body close, plus with a 50 period moving out of this. And then here you're talking about this. Is it actually going to break out of a formation like that? No, not really. Like, much more likely this top side turns into a channel, and then it keeps going through it with these oscillations, and this center line being relevant when you're above it and below it in terms of support or resistance. So more of the same for GME. The bastards will try and roll you over. They'll try and get you down. They'll try and make you give up. But everywhere they push it to is just a reason to buy it. And it looks like it's going to be that forever. So that's the busy ape section. I don't know how long it was or how if it was any helpful, because I did feel like I was daydreaming in my own head at times. Thanks so much for tuning in. Hit the like button. Tell your friends. Leave a comment. And just be nice to each other. Lady, thanks very much. Bye for the busy apes, but hello everybody else. I'm still here, everybody else. I'll see if that clip works. If it does, great. I'll be able to upload it, and then I'll be able to hear what my own voice sounded like and see what it's like and be dead happy and stuff. What time is it? 23? No way is it 23. Is it? Fuck 20. It is 11 o'clock. How does that happen, eh? How does that happen? How does that happen? I've got a whole life that I can't live. How does that happen? I just drooled for no reason, and that's what aging's like. Observe thyself. Observe thyself. You see, I just drooled for no reason, and that's what aging's like. You see, there's going to be people read that sentence and have completely different reactions to it. And that, as you surely know, you surely know what some people are like. I literally saw one agent in 100 Reddit posts. You saw an agent? Yo, it's the Kek. How you doing, friend? Poor bastard. Okay, what's he doing in there and get torn to pieces? I purposely did not mention to see if they would name the stonk. Did they? And am I going blind? It feels like it's CD's ghost. CC's ghost. Observe thyself. 4,000 playbacks, 489 likes. Wow, that's pretty cool. 10% of everybody who clicked it actually liked. Beachgoer, $5. Haha! Thank you so much, Beachgoer. That's so nuts. That's so appreciated. Cuffdam, where's Cuffdam at? You know you don't have to donate me a pizza roll every time you're around. I just haven't seen you in a while. Where is Cuffdam at, though? Where are you? Cuffdam, I'll get you a pizza roll next time I see you, my friend. Yes, they named it. They named it. They named it. Homer's Ghost. Cheers, Jamie. Love you guys. Thanks so much. Ah, shit. It's Homer's Ghost. Shoot what? Observe yourself. So many jokes. Evergrande equals Mark Crash equals DRS equals Motus. Stefan has got them all lined up. I fucking hate Evergrande. I would find it annoying that there may have to be a market crash for GME to do well, right, though. And if it did be a market crash, it probably would do very well, though it doesn't have to happen for it to be the trigger. DRS, direct registration of your shares, however you want to go about it. Great point, Stefan. However you want to go about that, and there are other ways. Moas is happening. One way or another, it's happening. If I have to make it happen on myself, I will. What is it? What else? The Perudo noted and recorded. Mad. I wasn't using DRS the whole time. Don't be mad. Don't be mad. We might not have had these rich experiences together. How are you doing, KT, my friend? I had a nice big drink of your coffee, and that's the only reason I'm still alive right now. Otherwise, I'd be dead earlier. If you were in New York, Syracuse. Is that what you call it? Syracuse? How do you say it? I've only ever seen it written down and heard Rocky say it. Syracuse. I can just go, Syracuse. Must say it like I normally mumble, and then no one will know if I'm saying it wrong. And then the Kindness Coffee Company, which is kind, and it's KT, and it's beautiful. Stefan, did you catch Jamie's answer earlier? What did I say earlier? I'm a son of the bitch who asked the questions. It's so good, eh? He's all great in that, and he's all cool in that. And I see he's all elsewhere on the internet as well, in other people's chats when I'm falling asleep and looking at their videos or catching up on what other friendly people have been saying. Jackson Hunter and Houston, Ape Andy, Cosmic, good people, and above all, Rocky Outcrop. Fucking love the guy, and I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for him in so many ways, so very many ways. Yay, caffeine is indeed your friend. When else forsakes you, drink up and keep the relationship alive. Yes, well, everything else pretty much will forsake you apart from it in the end. I am exciting day in Canada Day. Election. Is it your election in Canada? You're going to get that Chujuru guy back. Is he going to be back? Not that I have a fucking, I don't know. And then who's the opposition? Maybe they're worse, so don't ask me. I don't know. I just know that sometimes your boy there is a bit of a pillock. What are you supposed to do? It's not my fault. I'm not the fucking cringy twat, am I? So anyway, no offense, didn't mean that. I actually really like Canada. Just think he's a bit of a gimp. No, sorry, I should take that back. It's not my fault. It's not my fault. These things just jump out of my mouth, and I should never talk about politics anyway. It's not because I actually don't care, and I don't have it. No, please, no. Okay, I'll stop. Yo, Tradespotting, my girl just asked me what my internet buddy has to say about today. Told her the most is happening, and that's it. Nice one, Shepherd Unicorn. Yo, how you doing, my friend? I'm so glad that you're here all the time. I fucking really appreciate you. Think you're a super cool dude, and you make me feel good about myself knowing that I'm helping people like you. If I am helping, at least that you're my mate. That definitely helps. Love you, mate. Fucking love you, Shepherd. Your girlfriend asked you how you're right on the internet too, and he said he was too busy telling me how much he fucking liked me. But then, yeah, the molest is happening as well. Twitteroo! No flush! Lol, flush the Twitter. Ah, great, sweet. I haven't pissed anyone off with that, hopefully. Yeah, your boy's a bit of a fanny, isn't he? Or a tube. That tube word works well for him. That he's not going to say he isn't a nice enough looking bloke. He has got quite a nice soft face and that. A lot going for him. He's a bit funny. F the CCP, Globus America, we know what you did. We definitely know what you did. And I'm going to keep picking about it for a long time. They're still fucking doing it right now as we're enjoying ourselves and being able to breathe and being happy and having the privilege and the luxury of planning for an inevitable moas. There's people in there being treated like the tragic tales from history that we all said we'd never let happen again, happening right now. Love you, Jimmy. Fuck yous. Yo, love you. Fucking love you. When I'm looking at the chart on my phone, my son always asks how my money is doing. I say, well, and together we say bing bong, the price is wrong. Oh my God, that's going to make me cry. That's brilliant. Guy. Lucky to have each other, mate. Hey, Puddle. Forever Grande is not just happy Irish. Forever Grande is not just for happy Irish folk. Yo, Forever Grande. Forever and ever Grande. Can confirm, Tradespotting. He is in fact a gimp. I want a bigger dip. It's magic. Yo, magic. Ape Huddle, love you, Ape Huddle, love you. Thank you so much, Observe Yourself. Thank you so much, Wolfric. Thank you so much, Rocky. Thank you so much. Who else was the moderator? Sir David P, you fucking legend. Don't be fanny, Sir David P. My lord, Sir David P. Love you, long time, been around a long time. David P, you know, if I could give David a hug from everyone, I would. I fucking love David. I love all he is. See, this is it. I do, eh? So when I get angry, I get so fucking angry. Like you would if someone was after your family. I get so fucking angry. See you all tomorrow.